It's the key to life. everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Hoping you're having a wonderful week so far. As you can see, I got a brand new tinfoil crown for Tinfoil Tuesdays. My hair's a little weird today because I just had to wet it to do some stuff to it, but we're good. Look at my fabulous foil crown. Look at how tall my horns are. Hello, everyone. Excuse me. Hello, everyone, both on YouTube and on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, excuse me. YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. Just give it a thumbs up. It helps a lot, and I'd appreciate it. Everyone on Twitch, how's it going? Hope you're having a good week. Magnificent, thank you. It's a good crown. Yeah, it actually, I was surprised. It came like, I expected it to be much shittier than the picture, but nope. Looks exactly like the picture, so they did a good job. Look at that, even like goes, it doesn't even stop like right here. It goes along the sides, like about halfway, maybe a little more than that, and then there's a band in the back. It's not too bad comfortability-wise. I might have to take like a 10-minute break from it a couple times during stream just because it's a little tight. But other than that, it's not too bad. I'll probably just put some padding in here, like glue some extra support. But it looks good, so that's fun. What else? If you missed it in chat, next week on the 18th is Pissmas. That's right, it's been however long, was it a year that we got where you did like the level 10 hype train, so I wouldn't be able to show the alt health PP people for like a year? So that's fun. If you want to prevent that, do another costume month, I guess. If in the next week we do another costume month, Pissmas is cancelled. Bittergrin says, Hannah is Baphomet confirmed. True! So, anyway, we have a whole bunch. Bullshit? Not bullshit. Not bullshit. If you do another costume month before Pissmas, Pissmas will be canceled, and we will do another year moratorium on PP people. You heard it here first, folks. You have a way out. Anyway. You wanted 6 months for Pissmas? You waited 6 months for Pissmas? Anyway, so, with Pissmas on the way, maybe, unless we get to another goal, we will, just get into it, yeah. If you want to support the stream, tips always help, especially, this month, just because hours are shorter at both my other job and Baja's job. So, cool beans. Let's get into it, shall we? Get your bingo cards ready. We are going to play bingo. Other than that, we will jump into it. What do we want to cover first? Oh boy, let's do... We'll do Chris. Chris has a new one. Wait, you missed it? What's our way out? If we get to another costume month before Pissmas, which is the 18th, then Pissmas is canceled, and we do another year moratorium on the pee drinking people. So there you go. If we get to another costume goal by the 18th, no Pissmas! Okay. Chilling out of the way, let's get into Chris. Chris hasn't been around in a while, but he did post a video talking about Flat Earth. Yet again, of course. I'm going to start in the middle, because the beginning of the video is him remembering a friend who has passed away, and I think it's incredibly disrespectful for me to play that and make fun of it in any way for pretty obvious reasons. So I'm just going to skip that and go right into when he's talking about Flat Earth. Black's Law Dictionary request. Moratorium? Sure. Then we'll get to CC. I'll look up moratorium, and then we get to CC. Extortion! It's not extortion, it's creative capitalism. Let's see, moratorium. Opium? Does that count? LM... Mora... Moratorium, a term designating suspension of all or certain legal remedies against debtors, sometimes authorized by law during financial distress. A period of permissive or obligatory delay, specifically a period during which an obligator has a legal right to delay meeting an obligation. Just to let you know when you do the stream. Alright. So, finally, let's get into Chris.
And I see that people have been fucking around, once again, at the expense of me having fun. Uploading my videos, turning my words into whatever, and saying all this nonsense. But the truth is that we are stationary. We're flat. We're covered with a dome. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. And we didn't make this. God did. That's right. God loves you. You have potential. You want a final experiment? Here, I'll give you a fucking final experiment, okay? You take 2 boats around Antarctica, all right? 2.
He's upset about the final experiment because it's happening right now. They're not quite in Antarctica yet, but they are on their way there. Someone else mentioned it actually in the YouTube stream. Let me see if I can find that comment real quick. The final experiment has started. People have arrived in Punta Arenas, Chile, for staging before flying to Antarctica, already showing the sun is up till 10 p.m. local time. Gonna be interested. I know flat earthers aren't gonna change their minds, but their justifications will be interesting. And thank you, Orion Cooper, for that information. Appreciate it.
The supposed island on the bottom of Earth, okay? You can take 2 fucking boats.
I mean, where do we draw the line between island and continent? Because, like, Australia's a continent. Australia's on that line for me. Australia's like, it's a continent, but like, it's kind of island-esque. Either way, Antarctica is a continent, so take that as you will.
You have them go around the island and meet at the other side. That's the final experiment. But the Navy won't do it because they know what the results will be.
People have already done that, by the way. I was watching another person talking about this video. People have already done that. The Navy isn't gonna do an experiment just for you, because flat Earth isn't something that's big enough that it justifies spending the money or time doing that, at least for the Navy. Obviously, we have people like the people doing the final experiment that are putting money into it privately, but your specific thing has been done. People have trekked all across Antarctica, they've gone around it, they've flown over it, like, everything they can possibly say has been done.
Because apparently this island's only, what, 13,000 miles in width? So it's fine. It should only take them a day, not even, and they could meet on the other side of the island, and there you go. They won't, because we are covered with an ice wall. We are surrounded in an ice wall like a pond. These continents that are around are like islands. It's as simple as that.
So it's like, are we in like an ice bowl? What's the ice attached to that it's like a wall? You know what I mean? Because like if it was just ice, it would have to be on something. Is it still on land? And just the wall is ice? Or does the ice come down far enough and it like becomes some sort of bowl that we're all in? How does that make sense?
It's simple. Simple to understand. There is no space. NASA has been bullshitting your fucking taxpayers' money from the beginning. From 1958. They've been freaking taking all your money.
They're always so upset about NASA's budget. NASA's budget, as of this year, to my knowledge, is 0.3-something% of the national budget. 1/3 of 1%. This is not in any way an issue.
$90 million a day for nothing. For shit. You're never going to the moon. You're never going back. Every time they say they're going, a problem always happens. Think about that. Think.
The problem doesn't always happen. The political will and the budget for it isn't as good as it was back during the original space race. Like, that's just a reality. Like, it'll happen. I don't know exactly when, because the plans do get pushed back, but it will happen. So I really, really hope for that day, because the flat Earth and moon landing conspiracy theorists are going to be really interesting to look at on that day. Green Guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, me and the wife are pro-piss. Can we donate to Piss Yes and have a Piss No side, like a poll, a Piss Off? If you would, say 2 separate money calculators. Green Guy, if it makes you feel better, I what would I do in this situation? Oh, God. Could I have your donations negatively impact? I guess I could. I could just write down your donations and subtract them. If you really want me to. Sure. $3. So whatever this is, minus $3. Minus 6, because it's your donation, so it would have to be double minus. Right? Right? Yeah. Okay. There we go. So we have a war for Pissmas, I guess. A Pissmas accountant.
How can people still fucking believe that we live on this ridiculous Walt Disney World spinning wet ball? I don't understand it. I just don't understand. This is like, these fucking people are NPCs as far
Yeah, a pissing contest. We did it.
as I'm concerned. Okay, they are fucking NPCs. If they can't see
Again, we have that NPC's talking point. Everyone that doesn't agree with me is an NPC.
what's in their face and they're fighting against you, trying to hold on to something that they don't even understand. Ask them questions. Ask them the radius of Earth. Ask them how far away the closest star is. Ask them how big the universe is. How fast it's expanding. They can't give you dick, but yet they're fighting against something they don't understand. Why? I mean, that's like fighting against, it's like fighting against a car dealer and not understanding the mechanics of the vehicle, and you're fighting against it. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. Why they just don't stop and ask.
Okay, I figured it out. Here's what we're doing. If you're pro Pissmas and leave a tip, just leave a tip. If you're if you're anti-Pissmas. If you're pro-Pissmas, tell me, and your donation will count as a negative amount, and it'll make it so Pissmas happens. So normal donations count to stop Pissmas. If you tell me you want it to make Pissmas happen, I'll count it as a negative. There we go. We did it.
Critical questions. You know,
I'm done talking about that now. I'm sorry. I know that's annoying.
Asking questions.
Overthought says $10 for piss. Thank you.
I feel no movement. How could a star's light travel trillions of miles away and we can still see it?
Before each stream, this is the last thing I'll say about it because I know this is obnoxious. Before each stream, from now till Pissmas, I'll adjust this based on what people did the previous day manually, because I can't tell it to do that, but I can just fix it at the end of each stream. Okay, there we go. Pissmas rules. We did it.
Well, you can take a flashlight and go down 4 blocks and it disappears and you can't see it anymore. How are these stars possible? The sun and the moon eclipse each other. That's right. And Earth eclipse. Yeah, and people don't understand that the sun and the moon are self-projecting lights.
They're not. Again, I know with Chris, he just says the same talking points over and over again. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening, and I don't even have to live in his head. Can you imagine what it's like to be him?
Where is the moon all of a sudden? It goes in front of the sun, okay?
Absolutely, for Flat Earth bingo spot. We don't have an NPC spot, but it will go on the next bingo card when the new one gets made. I'm thinking for the new year, we'll do a new bingo card, and we'll update, refresh, take out stuff that's old and not really relevant. We'll do a revamped card in January.
And that's a solar eclipse. Okay, the sun eclipses itself.
Correct.
All of a sudden the moon just disappears too after the eclipse is done. Where is the moon gone? The moon does whatever the fuck it wants to do at this point. Comes up for 14 hours a day sometimes and then just disappears. Comes up over there the next day. Comes up anywhere it wants. These are self-projecting objects up there. You can't land on them. They're not solid.
Moon
They-
is a
it's-
light
I don't
on the
know.
bingo card.
I just think they just create this world for people and they don't question it because they've been beaten down all of their lives. They've just been beaten on the head with this nonsense. Fed total garbage, globes, classrooms, and told that you could one day be an astronaut and you'll be able to walk on the sky. Or walk on the moon.
Referencing like Luke Skywalker being a pop cultural character? Because I've never heard space travel discussed as walking in the sky. Kagami says flat earthers must be so happy that wasteful spending like NASA are going to be cut, until they get confused as to why all the services they depend on either stop or get worse, looking forward to the conspiracies as to why they still have the power to ruin things, even though the guy they voted for has all the power. Yeah, they'll justify it. And also, if anything, space stuff will get plenty of money because it's going to get funneled to Elon through partnerships with NASA. SpaceX, whatever.
When it's all nonsense.
We've entered a whole new level of crony capitalism.
Just
kind of incredible, actually.
garbage.
It's gonna be a disaster. Be interesting to watch.
All of it. There's never going to be a Star Trek or Star Wars. You'll never go anywhere. No matter how high you go, it's all level. And it always will be. And they're going to try to hide it at any expense they possibly can. I thank you for something. I thank you for reviewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Ah, Chris. So Chris he's still a thing. About all I have to say about that. All right, let's get into the Luigi Mangione conspiracies. This is just unfortunate. I have unfortunately seen even more left-leaning people start conspiratorializing about this. Please don't be that person. Please don't be that person. I promise you, him getting arrested is not a conspiracy. I promise this is not like... Just stop. Please just stop. Anyway, we'll address all of the points that people have been bringing up through this video.
When it comes to the case of the...
I would say no, because he's telling people they'll never go anywhere in terms of you won't go to the moon. Not like you're a loser.
CEO, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, there's actually been an update. Now, I finished this video, and when I finished the video, I uploaded this video to YouTube. I didn't set it to public yet, but come to find out, they have the identification. They found the individual, and they...
Why would it be a conspiracy? There are people saying that the guy that they arrested isn't the guy. Now, to be clear, he's not had a trial, so he is innocent until proven guilty, legally speaking. I completely admit that. Like, in fact, but, practically speaking, he was caught with a manifesto and, like, a silencer and the fake IDs that were used by the suspect to go to a hotel and stuff. Let me just say, in my personal opinion, yeah, I think they got the guy. Legally, again, innocent until proven guilty. But there are conspiracies where people are trying to say, oh, it's not him, or it's a setup, something along those lines. And a lot of it basically amounts to, I wanted him to get away with it. I'm trying to be careful because we're on Twitch. And I understand that sentiment, but that sentiment doesn't mean he didn't get caught. Just because you wanted something to happen doesn't mean it's not happening just because it makes you sad. And I see certain people falling into that. Or they had certain preconceived notions about the shooter, the alleged shooter, that were shattered by the reality of who he is, or who he is allegedly. And so they want a conspiracy theory why he isn't the person they expected him to be. Kind of a never meet your heroes scenario, Ben Kagami says the only conspiracy about his arrest is that they only caught him because he killed someone who mattered. I think I could say that on Twitch. That's fine. I think everyone would agree that the amount of time and resources the NYPD put into this particular shooting was well beyond what they have ever done for a normal person.
They apprehended the individual who is behind this incident. So apparently the individual is 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but get
I thought it was Mangione, but I'm not sure.
this. He was found with everything that you would need to convict him on. He was even found with the exact same clothing that he supposedly committed the incident with.
Same jacket, I believe. He had clothing on him that matched the clothes, and he was wearing the same jacket, but he had on different clothes.
So they wanted us to believe he was there for multiple days, and he switched out his jacket and backpack, yet they found him at McDonald's with the exact same clothing he's seen in other photos with, days later.
He probably didn't consider that. Like, again, this comes down to someone created a preconceived notion, like you saw the video, for instance, of the shooting, perhaps. And if you've seen the video of the shooting like I have, you get a sense of like, oh wow, this person is proficient in their shooting, or at the very least, they're very calm for, like, shooting someone to death. So you get the impression, initially, at least, there's a Twitch page for Luigi. Is it the actual guy? It's kind of funny. Ave Everleaf, thanks for following. Anyway, so as I was saying, you might get the initial impression that, wow, he really thought this through. He shot that guy so easily. It looks so professional. Therefore, when he gets caught doing something kind of dumb, you go, oh, it can't be the guy, because you think he's a professional, or at least you think he's smarter than that. The problem is, that's your conception, not the reality. Also, I would argue having a manifesto on you probably indicates that you expected to get caught. Not saying you want to get caught, but you probably expect it.
He was found with a silencer, multiple fake identification cards, and, well, guess what? A handwritten manifesto criticizing the United States healthcare industry. He had everything on him, including a manifesto at McDonald's, even though he had prepared with multiple packs of backpacks, jackets apparently, and he had a book bag filled with Monopoly money to toy along with the police and investigators apparently, but he had everything on him needed to pin him for this incident involved.
What does the Monopoly money have to do with anything? I agree, it's like funny. It gets a certain point across, but that has no indication, or rather has no bearing on whether or not he was going to get caught. Do you see the line that someone is drawing? He planned it, right? He had a plan. He had the Monopoly money to send a message. Because we expect if someone has a plan, then that plan probably will work. Because that's what happens in movies, right? That's how stories are told, is you have a plan, and the plan succeeds. Or if someone is able to get away with one part of a plan, you assume the other parts of the plan will work. That's not reality, though, but that seems to be what a lot of people are intuiting here, unfortunately, is that, well, he was good at this one part of his plan, so he couldn't have failed on the back half, which isn't how that works.
Involving the United Health
He meant to scatter it on the body, but wasn't able to. Oh, that would make sense.
Care CEO. Like I'm going to go ahead and say in the rest of this video, this is such a script. It's just a
Yeah, you did mention that to me, Trey.
Manufactured news story. He even has a YouTube channel that says, if you already see this, then I'm under arrest, and it's counting down. The countdown leads to nowhere. I guess another video is coming out, but
YouTube already would have shut that down. He might have scheduled a video or something. It's possible. YouTube would have stepped in and shut that down the minute they realized he had a channel. In fact, I'd imagine different social media sites, as soon as his name came out, were like, ooh, does he have an account?
This is just, like, they are really thinking that the public is stupid. And again, not saying that the CEO really didn't lose his life in this way, but there are really edited and scripted parts of this news story. Now I'm going to go ahead and play the video. Now, like I said, the rest you're going to hear in this video is before I found out that they supposedly apprehended the supposed suspect. Is it just me, or
the videos were uploaded in January? Ooh, he planned this for a while. Interesting.
Feel like the story of the United
Twitter nuked his account a couple days after people found it? Yeah, not surprising.
Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson and how his life was ended, how he passed away, it feels like it's almost like a manufactured story. Now, I'm not saying that he did not pass away in the manner that he did. I'm just saying there's a lot of things in this story that make no sense whatsoever, and it feels like it was...
Let me guess, a lot of the things that don't make sense are just someone doing something that doesn't work out according to plan. Benigagami says, has it occurred to these people that maybe his plan was to keep trolling and he just got caught before he could spread out the trail? That's likely why he had all the stuff on him. He was planning to lead a nationwide chase and got caught before he could. Possible.
Was designed.
At this point, it's all speculative. I don't know. And this is all alleged. Google jury nullification.
To make no sense whatsoever.
Especially if you're in the New York area.
Our interest, our attention, our focus on this story. And it's not just this particular story here, but a couple of other news stories that feel like they are being manufactured as they go along. Another example would be the drone story, the drones over New Jersey, the drones over Air Force bases that you hear me talk about quite a bit on this channel.
Why would it be shocking that there would be drones over Air Force bases? That would be where military keeps their drones. Like, they probably are testing drones or training people to fly drones.
Because, again, nothing makes sense about that story. The story is so mysterious and designed to be interesting. Like I said, you just can't help but talk about it. We have...
Bittergrin says, look, it can't be Luigi. He was hanging out with half of TikTok at the time of the shooting.
These objects that do look like drones, that do look like planes, that have lights, they're making sound.
I can't even imagine. I don't mean to, like, get off to... I mean, this is on topic, but it's not conspiracy related. But the voir dire for that trial is going to be a nightmare for those attorneys. Holy shit, how do you even find a jury for that case? Have you or anyone you know ever been hurt by someone in the American healthcare industry? Like, how do you vet that jury in the United States? I don't even know how you do it.
They're described to be drones, but the FBI, the military, they say they cannot bring them down. They can't stop them. They can't track them, even though they are flying over restricted airspaces. They're flying over Air Force bases. They're scaring the residents. They're stopping medevac helicopters from landing in certain areas and helping car crash victims. But the FBI says we really need the public's help in stopping these drones. What? But those who have the capabilities to take these down immediately are adding just a little bit of spice to it to, again, keep you interested, to keep you captivated in this story. Then we have the story I covered, the story of the missing Hawaiian woman, Hana Kobayashi, and right away, due to the photos that came out, people saw right through the story. They knew it was a manufactured story just by the one-eyed symbolism, the
spurious symbology is evidence on the bingo card.
Photo that was given and shared by news and media. This, again, feels like one of those stories designed and manufactured to remain interesting and keep your attention, keep you guessing, keep you asking questions as they string you along. She goes missing in LAX.
It's incredible that people genuinely just look at random acts that happen all over the world every day and go, this thing that happened to catch my attention in the news was specifically there to catch my attention and distract me. Like, no, there's gonna be news stories. Like, what are you talking about? There's billions of people on the planet. There's hundreds of millions of them in this country. You think things never happen? Bittergrin with 100 bits says, I don't know anyone who hasn't at least had problems with United Healthcare specifically. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting trial. I'd imagine we'll end up covering at least parts of it. Unless he gets Epsteined. Laughing nervously at the dystopian hellscape that is reality.
Phone shuts off, all these bizarre text messages come out. She's supposedly at LAX flying to New York City with her ex-boyfriend. That's what comes out by news and media. The families come out and say, no, she was not flying with anybody or with anybody at the airport.
That's what Ryden's concern for me. But I also need to correct that she was not seen at the airport. Man.
If he does the sovereign citizen defense, it would be hilarious.
With anybody.
He could also plea out. I don't know about that.
So
he also seemed There was news footage earlier today, like an hour or so before we even started stream, where he was being escorted by police out of a police car into maybe a courthouse, and didn't seem like he's interested in pleading. Robo Twilight says, "Hi Hannah, you're my #1 streamer on my recap thing. Thanks for all the amazing content, and hello everyone else here too." Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
I'm sorry, I just heard that now, and I wanted to correct that from whatever standpoint you guys have. Yeah.
Does this guy getting turned in by a manager of McDonald's seem consistent with my experience of McDonald's managers? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of different reports that have come out and things that have...
Watch, they're gonna put that McDonald's manager, like, on, like, Good Morning America, and they're all gonna, like, be like, "Oh, you're so good, like, how you're such a hero." It's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
that have been said that aren't true, and different, all sorts of stuff. And then
her father goes out to look for her. Her father loses his life at the same exact airport that she goes missing. Come to find out, she was supposedly in Mexico the whole time. And if you listen closely to one of the interviews, the police have been aware of this the whole time. And you're supposed to ask yourself, well, why didn't they tell the family before the father went out to California? Like, the whole story just feels so strange and mysterious to keep you invested, to keep you watching, to keep you focused as to see what's going to happen next. Nothing makes sense. And again, it's not supposed to. Because if it were to make sense, many of us would start getting bored of the story and stop being distracted from whatever they are distracting us from. But going back to the news story of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, again, like with the other stories, there are things in the story designed to keep you interested, to keep you focused, to keep you saying, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. When the story first broke out, we were shown the suspect wearing a different book bag and jacket than what they're seen wearing in future photos. Now,
some of the photos might have been of a different person. Like, we aren't sure on that yet. There were a variety of different camera pictures, camera stills of people they believed to be the suspect, but not all of them necessarily were.
It's fine, right? This isn't really a conspiracy.
Overthought with 100 bits says distracted, like people can't focus on two things at the same time.
Because, yes.
As someone with ADHD, I wish I could focus on one thing at the same time.
They said that he was there for the course
instead of half-assing 6 different things.
Of 10 days or over 10 days.
I will say, though, half-assing 6 things at once is still like doing 3 things, which is better than being good at doing one thing mathematically.
So he could have a different backpack, he could have a different jacket. I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that he had a second jacket or a second book bag with him. But we do have news come out saying that it was indeed the same jacket that he wore at the scene of the crime.
So I want to pull him up there in your screen.
Did I ever get on ADHD meds? I did, and it was wonderful, and it made my brain function, and then I stopped having health insurance like a year ago. So I haven't had it in a year. Things are dire.
Because you can really see this guy's face now. The New York Post is reporting that those photos were taken at a nearby hostel where they believe this gunman was staying. As you mentioned, he's got that green jacket on and the black mask pulled down. That matches what he was wearing the morning of the shooting just yesterday when he was father of 2 and husband. That was exactly the jacket. And then you can see him there, too, where the hood's pulled down a little bit and he's got a backpack on. Back out here live.
But it's not just Fox News. It's other news agencies as well, like the New York Post, among others, making sure they emphasize on the fact that it's the same jacket. Did you hear how she emphasized the jacket? To make sure you heard. Just so you can say to yourself, no, that's definitely not the same jacket. Whether he changed it later or not and had a second jacket on him, that's definitely not the same jacket. Matter of fact, that does not look like the same person when the photos initially came out, but that's definitely not the same jacket. Matter of fact, to prove my point,
these 2 photos, it's incredibly difficult to tell anything like that. The lighting is entirely different. The quality of the cameras is different. I really can't tell you about the jacket. The backpack, the straps are very different, but again, who knows? It could be a lighting thing. Could be one of these pictures isn't actually the suspect. We don't know. But Occam's razor dictates that it isn't probably a conspiracy.
Let's go to the comment section of this video. You have people that are saying, I think we can all agree that's not him. Yeah, the jacket is completely different, not the same hood, and not even close on the backpack. Why are they saying, is this guy, I wonder? Different jacket, different backpack. Yeah, not sure that's him at all. Exactly, not the same person. Just to take a regular dude to convict guilty, that's not him. Now, I mean, a lot of people are saying this. We're going to go ahead and look at a couple more comments. This comment here got 297 likes. This person says, not the same guy. The gunman had a windbreaker and light colored backpack and would not be wearing it around town. And no front pockets. For F's sake, the journalists, please do your job and not just be mindless parrots. The coffee shop guy has a regular jacket with a hood and a dark strap backpack. And
Benigagami says the conspiracy dipwads who think you have to keep things interesting or people get bored clearly haven't paid attention to right-wing propagandists. All they do is repeat the same shit on a loop for years at this point, and it takes months before they have to change the messaging and their audiences just eat it up.
Again, this is so true. All these different news agencies.
The fact that all these people are getting their opinions from comments is kind of maddening.
All these different outlets who are all controlled and operated by the three-letter organization anyway, but they're all saying...
You know what I think people are lacking? I think people have forgotten how to just say, that's weird. Sometimes you can just say, I don't know why these two things look different necessarily, but I also don't need to make a hard statement definitively about what I think happened. I can wait for more information. Imagine. Toreador says, wait, are you saying someone might go online and lie and spread misinformation? No, that never happens.
Saying the exact same thing. They're all saying it's the same exact jacket as what was seen at the scene of the crime when the first photos came out. And people are saying, no, it's not. There are people out there that even believe that the first photo that came out of the suspect, their face looks completely different than what has now come out.
You can't even tell from the video on the left. It's so low quality. You can't tell his features.
The suspect now has longer eyelashes, has thicker eyebrows. And
the eyebrows thing bugs me too. I've seen his closer photos and it wasn't necessarily like his mugshot, but it was a photo taken since he's been taken into custody. And the way that security cameras work, like the picture on the left in particular, which seems to be an older security camera than the one on the right here, aren't necessarily going to get the detail of the eyebrow that is coming together to form more of a unibrow that you see in the more high definition pictures taken in jail. It's just frustrating. Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card.
And when they take their mask off and they're smiling, some people are even saying that this could be a female, and I can see that. I can see where there can be a confusion in the gender. Again, it just feels like one of those stories designed to sow confusion. And then we keep having these photos come out where we can clearly see their face up close. Like this photo here where they're in a cab, and it looks like a professional photo, like they're taking a selfie. Now, and again, I'm not saying that the CEO...
I don't think that picture, which I've seen the bigger version of, looks like someone's taking a selfie at all.
...did not pass away in this manner. All I'm saying is maybe the powers that be, certain agencies that are behind these stories, these manufactured stories, already have this individual behind bars. They arrested him or took him out, and they are just, stringing the story along, expanding on the story just to keep our focus on it. For instance, here's another good example. Like those billionaires who went underwater.
Does this count as false flag? I would call it PSYOP more than false flag. False flag implies a larger political event, which, don't get me wrong, this has pretty obvious political implications, but I think it's small scale enough where you would have to call it a PSYOP more than a false flag. Because a false flag is something that is usually used as pretense to do something. Like a real life false flag would be like the Reichstag fire, in which the Reichstag was set ablaze and Germany blamed, was it Poland? Even though it wasn't Poland, and used that as justification for their invasion. But this is like a one-off thing, so I just call it more like a PSYOP.
...water to explore the Titanic, and we were focused on this story for, I believe it was over a week or a couple weeks, thinking these people were still alive. News stories came out where they said they heard this mysterious banging underwater, and they believe that these
That's sensationalism. Like, it seems like he doesn't understand. He's noticing that, like, incorrect information or misleading information is getting filtered through news outlets, which is nothing new, by the way. But he's acting as though it's a concerted effort to confuse people, when in reality, it's the fact that, like, clickbait and eyeballs is the economics of modern news. A lot of it's based on advertising. So even if something isn't vetted correctly, people are going to jump on it because you might click on their website. It's not that they're trying to trick you necessarily. They're just a website in a system that needs you to click on things, so they're going to print stuff that is interesting or they think will make you click, even if it's not necessarily accurate. Like, this is big, doesn't understand their problem is capitalism on the bingo card. Frayline says the fire was an excuse to persecute communists. There was a fake message intercepted that was used to invade Poland. Thank you. Sorry, I got the two confused.
these passengers are just stuck and they're lost somewhere, and we're thinking maybe they're lost out in sea. Very horrific situation that they're facing hunger, they're facing insanity, and
Grim Rodham says, when Lincoln was killed, there was a 12-day hunt for him, and hundreds of people were mistaken for him at the same time he was a famous actor, but they found this guy in 5 days. Yes, did you know that it's not like the mid-1800s anymore, or the late 1800s? Did you know people have cameras and mass news and internet to send out photos of the guy everywhere? Really? Conspiracy theorist shows up in chat on the bingo card from YouTube.
so forth, and they're in this small vessel. But all
Yeah, it doesn't understand how cameras work as well from earlier.
this time, for a couple weeks while we've been focused on this story, thinking they just, were lost at sea somewhere, the Navy knew that same exact day they went underwater, they heard the implosion. The Navy already knew that vessel had imploded. So if the Navy heard the implosion that same day, why didn't they tell anybody? Why didn't they tell news and media? Why didn't news and media tell the public after hearing this from the Navy? Because that's not how the game works. The game is designed, again, to keep you focused and interested. If you knew the ending of a movie, you really wouldn't be that interested.
You're watching a movie on the bingo card. Trey says, hey, the conspiracy theory guy, how long did it take for them to find Lee Harvey Oswald? Sorry, you don't think he's the guy? That's fine. I think you're wrong. But whatever. I hope he gets acquitted either way. To be clear.
In the movie, you would already know the outcome. That is why people do not like spoilers. But talking about movies in Hollywood, there's even a movie connection that certain channels are making when it comes to the whole United Healthcare CEO incident. And it has to do with the movie Smile 2. It all has to do with people ending their lives while smiling, people who have this curse. They pass on the curse to other people who witness them ending their lives. And these people now witness other people smiling in a very sinister and scary way.
I haven't seen Smile 2 yet. I liked the first one, though.
What's very interesting and channels are talking about.
Grim Rodham says, I mean, just look at him. He doesn't look like him at all. You're comparing different bad security camera footage. You understand that that's not accurate? Do you get that?
Is the fact that the movie, it does take place in New York, and there's a scene where the main actress who has the curse, seeing people smiling, she's wearing a hoodie at a hotel and she's waving a gun. And again, she's seeing people smiling, and the suspect behind the whole CEO incident, they are now naming the smiling suspect. Now, if you believe the whole Hollywood angle, the predictive programming, the psyops coming from
I've heard
Hollywood,
no one call him the smiling suspect.
these scripts are just too far out there to believe. There was another very interesting news story that captivated the public. 3 friends who froze in their backyard, 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans. It was so strange, bizarre, and mysterious.
Did they all get super drunk and pass out outside?
All had our attention focused on this story.
Because, like, that kind of seems like a thing that, like, football fans would do. No offense to football fans, just the football fans I've known in my life. Some of them, like, really like to drink, especially, like, with their buddies with the game. Did they all get super, super drunk and fall asleep outside? Like, that's sad. That's very sad, but probably the most likely explanation.
we're all coming up with different theories.
They were super drunk in extremely cold weather. That's very sad.
And only...
You've heard him called the insurance adjuster. Yeah, AO3 started calling him the adjuster, and then it broke containment.
1 week.
There are AO3 fanfics of the adjuster, as you might imagine.
After that story had broken out, there was a very popular TV series, True Detective, that had an episode where 3 friends had frozen together, and they were figuring out...
Grim Rodham says, so were the Boomer McDonald's rat that saw him. Also, why would he carry all that stuff on him 5 days and not get rid of any of it? It just feels like a setup. Well, he did get rid of the gun. He didn't have the gun. He had a silencer, I believe, that was supposed to have been used. Feels like a setup. Again, you're basing that entirely on vibes. Like, you're assuming his competence. Why are you assuming his competence in this matter? He had a manifesto on him. That would imply expecting getting caught, or at least accepting that that is a possible outcome?
How could that have happened? A lot of these strange news stories are just so heavily manufactured. Why is Hollywood showing me an episode on a TV show 1 week after this news story broke out where 3 friends froze together in their backyard?
Yeah, vibes-based conspiracy for the person in YouTube chat.
And look, this TV show, this episode, even has the same exact number of friends frozen together. That must be...
Why would he carry it? It makes no sense. So it's on him when he gets caught. So it becomes evidence. So it becomes public. What are you talking about?
One big eerie coinkydink. Well, there were a lot of eerie coincidences between 2023 and 2024. How many coincidences do we actually need before we say something's just not right here? And again, I want...
Like, Grim Rodham, I understand where you're coming from. I'm not mad at you. Like, I understand why you would not want it to be him. I understand why you would want this to be a setup, because it would mean that the guy got away with it. And people have been absolutely fucking brutalized by the American healthcare industry. There's a reason that as largely the response to this has been, fuck that guy. It's because virtually everyone in America has had a situation, either for themselves or a family member, where people have been murdered by the American healthcare industry. I understand. That doesn't mean it's not him, just because you or others or even I might wish it wasn't.
I want to make it very clear. I'm not saying that the CEO...
Grim Rodham says, I'm really sorry, it just feels like the NYPD needs to look good and put us peasants in our place. Okay, you can feel that way, but your feelings are entirely based on the fact that you have a want that is not being met in this case. So it feels like this is suspect, even though you don't actually have any evidence to that effect.
CEO here did not lose his life. I'm not saying that. But again, what I'm saying is...
Green Guy with another $3 tip says, Hannah, I have conspiracies, but they're closer to home. Like, I think my cats have secret meetings when I sleep. I talk to spiders in my bathroom who likes to knit. Things that won't affect me. I try to ignore. Pro P! I'll add that to the Pro P count. Thank you. If anyone missed it, by the way, if you weren't here earlier in the stream, Pissmas is on next Wednesday. If you want to prevent it, tip and say you are anti-P. If you are pro-P stream, or anti-P stream, tell me. And then if we get to 1,000, it'll be canceled. If it doesn't, we don't. The anti-P streams count negative. The pro-P counts negative. And by P stream, I mean watching alt health weirdos who like to drink their own pee and put it in their eyeballs, stuff like that. Grim Rodham says, right, because the NYPD has never set anyone up before. Again, you're putting words in my mouth. Did I say that? You are making an assumption based on feelings. Your feelings, as deep as they might be, as justifiable as they may be, are not based on evidence. It's based on what you want to be true. Please learn the difference between what you want to be true and what is actually evidenced in a given moment. I'm not telling you you can't hold on to those hopes, but to say it definitively or act as though you have found something out when it's literally just your intuitive feelings, that's a big part of the problem we have in society, is people confusing their intuitive feelings for facts that they need to go out and proselytize about to everyone. Anyway. Benikagami says, "Hey Grim, why write a manifesto in the first place? You're confessing to the crime. A lot of people get off on attention. It's why mass murder is contagious in the first place. Manifestos are also symptoms of people wanting to be heard and trying to get emotional release for their intrusive thoughts."
Is that it feels like there's a script at play here, a Hollywood script used to extend these stories just to make them mysterious and strange, and again, to keep your focus on these stories.
Bitter Grin with the $10 tip says, "Anti-P." Thank you.
So again, I just don't want to make that clear
Hydrate.
for people who are watching this video, but also YouTube, who may believe that I'm saying that this incident didn't happen. Did it happen? I don't know. But what I'm saying is that, yes, the incident may have really happened, but again, it seems like there is an extension here to keep it going. That's all I'm saying. No different than the drones over New York, no different than the story.
Jersey. The drones are over New Jersey. Gothgeek Gaming says anti-P here. Wait, did you do a tip? Or are you just expressing anti-P? Yeah, I didn't see a tip. Social Warlock says, "Not terribly long ago, here in my home city of Las Vegas, Nevada, there was actually a similar case where something felt so absurdly misplanned that there were, like, local conspiracies about it. Former Las Vegas official who killed journalist must serve at least 28 years. Former Las Vegas official was sentenced to serve nearly 3 decades in Nevada State Prison for killing an investigative journalist who wrote an article critical of his conduct in office 2 years ago and exposed an intimate relationship with a female coworker. Judge Mitchell Levitt of Clark County District Court on Wednesday sentenced Robert Tellez to serve at least 28 years for the September 2022 murder of Las Vegas Review-Journal reporter Jeff German. A jury had found Tellez guilty of murder in August and sentenced the former official to life in prison with eligibility for parole after 20 years. The judge on Wednesday invoked sentencing enhancements for elements including use of a deadly weapon, lying in wait at the age of the report. Wait, is there, where does it say what he did? I know he killed her, but like what was the specifics there where it was weird? Lost his primary for a second term in office after her stories, described turmoil and bullying at the offices of Tellez led, as well as a romantic relationship between Tellez and a female employee. His law license was suspended following his arrest. German was murdered on September 2nd, 2022 outside his home in Las Vegas. Police sought public help to identify a person captured on neighborhood security video driving a maroon SUV and walking while wearing a broad straw hat that hid his face in an oversized orange sleeve shirt. Tellez was arrested a few days later. At the trial, prosecutor Pamela Weckerly showed footage of the person wearing orange slipping into the side yard where German was stabbed, slashed, and left dead. Prosecutors detailed how police found a maroon SUV and cut-up pieces of straw hat and gray athletic shoes which looked like those worn by the person seen on neighborhood video at Tellez's house. There you go. That'll do it. Grim Rodham says, "As long as someone is trash, you think it's okay to set them up for a crime they didn't do?" What? Where did you get any of that? What are you talking about? What the fuck? Tellez testified for several rambling hours at his trial. Oh wait, there was also this. Authorities did not find the orange long-sleeve shirt or a murder weapon. Tellez testified for several rambling hours at his trial, admitting for the first time that reports of the office romance were true. He denied killing German, saying he was framed by a broad conspiracy involving a real estate company, police, DNA analysis, former coworkers, and others. He told the jury he was victimized for crusading to root out corruption. "I am not the kind of person who would stab someone. I didn't kill Mr. German," Tellez said, "and that's my testimony." But prosecutors had other evidence incriminating Tellez, including his DNA under German's fingernails. And that's why you wear a suit of armor when you do your crimes, so people can't scratch into your body. That's a joke, not advice, by the way. take it as such. Where did that video go we were watching? Where did it go?
In the case of Hana Kobayashi, and no different than the billionaires that went under the water to explore the Titanic, where the Navy knew they had imploded that same day. But again, they went ahead and extended the story to keep you interested. I get it. I do repeat myself a lot in these videos. I understand that.
You know that pinup character? You're going to enjoy that segment, I think. Penekagami says, I'm going to counter Grimm's conspiracy right here. If the frame-up was real, likely it wouldn't have been a manager who snitched. They would have bought off a cashier. The reasoning is because it would have disrupted the class solidarity that you believe the powerful are terrified of. The fact that a manager was the rat is only going to powder keg the situation. I don't think it was a manager. Other people are saying it was a patron. I'll get there, Fenekagami, sorry. Oh, I just did. Toreador says, a bunch of my Fursonas artwork is based on Helga art. Nice.
But that's only to make sure I get my point across, so there's no misunderstandings in what I'm saying. We can even use another story as an example, a story that happened earlier this year in 2024. It seems like 2024 is the year of manufactured stories. Those 3 men that passed away in their friend's backyard, those Kansas City Chiefs fans that the news and media kept calling them. Even to this day, even though police and investigators came out and said they are not investigating this case as a criminal case, they still have not released the autopsy report and the official...
I'm guessing it says they died of hypothermia.
Official toxicology report to the families. Now, I know some people out there want to say that, well, yes, they did. They released a toxicology report. And no, what they released was... and you
The
can
patron saw Luigi, told an employee, the employee told the manager called the cops. Ah, gotcha.
look this up yourself. What they released was the preliminary toxicology report, which is vastly different than an autopsy report. The most recent news story on this case even says that the families are still waiting for the autopsy report. Why? Well, the police and investigators say there's still an investigation going on, even though it's not a criminal one. There was a lot of mystery, a lot of strangeness to that story, where a lot of us, we were making up and coming up with multiple theories until the preliminary toxicology report came out. And then a lot of us just stopped talking about the story and moved on to the next strangest thing that kept our attention for a little bit, for a couple weeks, until we moved on to the next story. And that's how it works. They're designed to hold us for a little bit, to make sure we're distracted just enough until they can properly end the story in whichever way they want to. And then they present us with another very strange story that makes no sense whatsoever. It just feels like everything is one big script. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.
Ah. So yeah, don't, well... I was gonna say, don't spread conspiracy theories about the alleged person, but I guess that depends upon your aim. Let me put it this way. Don't genuinely believe conspiracy theories about it, because they're probably not true. M. Shuffler with 36 months says, McSnitches get McStitches, apropos of nothing in the news. Thank you for 36 months. This stream baby's name is going to be... Waluigi Mangione. I'm not proud of that one. Alright. Oh, let's see what we're doing next. Let's do this one. Why not? This is that person who believes the same stuff as Hans Wormhat. He believes everyone is secretly transgender except for him and a few select other people. I find this video funny because it just accidentally tells us what he's into, which I respect. But, I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Let's check it out.
Howdy, y'all. I found this wondrous character, Hilda.
This wondrous character, Hilda.
long ago and knew I had to talk about her. I want to say thanks to Dwayne Byers, the artist. He lived about 100 years, it seems, and lived a long, good life because he understood, in my opinion, true beauty. He did these amazing oil paintings of this character Hilda, who's a natural woman. And you don't see this anywhere. Like the Venus of Willendorf type rarity of the natural woman's figure being celebrated.
So this whole video is basically him going to be talking about how he likes full-figured women, which there's nothing wrong with. I'm a thick lady myself. Believe me, I get it. I appreciate when people appreciate, yeah, great, cool. I do find it funny that he finds this to be the only okay female body type, though. Very weird. Green Guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, I'm 40 years old, and shows on TV now and being streamed are getting more and more extreme to hook the audience. Real life is following suit, and people just don't want to believe it, but with more technology around, it is now a video and proof. Pro-P. Thank you for telling me you're pro-P every time.
In media and just in the world. So often we see billboards covered with swires or male skeletons posing as females, and you get sick of it after a while. I've been sick of it. I'm disgusted by it. I didn't know better growing up. Lusted after things that I was presented with, and now I realize how I've talked about it before. I dated people that I would have never dated had I known the truth.
Swires is an intersex condition. So this guy and Hans Wormhat believe that most people on the planet are secretly either intersex or trans or both, because they kind of combine all of these things to be the same thing. They're not, of course, but they act as though they are. So anyone who's gender non-conforming, basically anyone, they think everyone except for themselves and a few others are secretly trans, basically.
It wasn't just with them because I thought it's not about the look, it's about what they have inside. And then I found out that too, with these people I was with, was pretty vapid and menial and sad. But as I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate people like my wife. Technically, she's not my wife, but she is my wife and partner. We haven't had a marriage yet, but my daughter's going to be the flower girl at it. And I love celebrating real women that I see everywhere, because it's rare to see them in this light, and especially nowadays where it feels like...
I wonder if he would think I'm a, quote, real woman, because, like, I am, say, chubby. Let's be nice. Thick. Sure. Thick. That'd be fun.
It's over the top with the excessive trans stuff. It's just in your face all the time. This kind of stuff gets hidden, or even, as you can see on an Etsy take of Hilda here, with all of her friends of the wilderness. The natural world is always amused by her. She's got this easygoing, fun-loving personality, and
My God, he really is just... Does he realize he's basically doing a treatise on his favorite waifu? I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Shines through all these paintings, the floral covering the breasts and the understory, and the book there. But yeah, you see Etsy, of course, an orange company calling Hilda plus size, and there is nothing plus size about that. This is a healthy woman.
I mean,
women have double
general
chins.
culture considers... The general cultural standard for what is plus size is not great. But that's a
extra
whole different story. That's not a conspiracy. That's a different thing.
weight, as we know. Construction tissue, right? For building babies, making babies. And I'm amazed that this exists. I mean, obviously, it ought to exist. It should exist in so many more forms, and I do intend.
Has he seriously never seen like tantalizing pictures of women before that aren't thinner or that aren't thinner than this? I find that so hard to believe. There's so many pictures of women on the internet.
To further my, I've made some paintings of my wife, but I want to continue this trend of making beautiful natural women.
Fast fashion hates fat people. True. Not fast fashion, but Torrid has good stuff. If you've never shopped at Torrid, they usually have some pretty good stuff.
Just the norm. I'm sick of looking at these fake freaks.
I'm almost like Torrid. I like Torrid enough that like I'm almost sad that I'm trying to lose weight still, and I had a little bit of like a back up, gained some weight, and now I'm trying to get back down. But like I am on the lower end of Torrid sizing, and I'm almost sad. So I like their stuff.
And this is it's a breath of fresh air, and I'm just so thankful that Dwayne Breyers did this. And yeah, there's some kind of lewd. There's a little bit of lewd aspects to some of these.
Torrid is expensive.
But most of them have this
Very.
carefree, amazing, loving touch to them. And it doesn't feel like it's creepy or weirdly sexual.
I mean, yeah, it's just like nice art. It's fine.
Much of what we're thrown at nowadays with the fake boobs and the fake women is. Now, is that a hand sign right there? I don't think so. I don't know why.
That's so funny. Conspiracy theorists will look at any hand and be like, that's a hand sign. But in this scenario, he really likes this fictional character. He finds her attractive. He seems to have some sort of like, I don't even know what to call it. Parasocial? It's not parasocial because it's not a real person. Some sort of fantasy feelings for this character. So when she's doing a weird hand thing, he clearly gets some sort of thing in his brain that goes, weird hand thing. But he likes this character. So no, this isn't evil. This isn't conspiratorial. He likes this. So it can't be that. Interesting. Gitara says, dang it, they caught Luigi's Mansion. I was really hoping we'd get a fourth game or remake at some point.
Because it's a natural woman. And she's gorgeous. And yeah, there's little like lewd things like this, you know, like, oh, dog's biting my underwear, but you can see the face. Look at the expressiveness. Look how she's dropped her knife. She was in the middle of, looks like working on some apples. And just got a whole setup here. And
I never understood the butt flap thing. I'm not gonna shit. I'm not gonna shit in that. I'm not gonna shit in that. Why would you have a butt flap?
And I want to read more about how this came to be. I'm still just in the image space of this, and I want to read more about how this came to be.
Never mind. I just realized a secondary purpose for a butt flap, theoretically. Never mind.
But I just am so thankful.
Yeah, I just got that. I got that alt fact. Literally, as I said it, I went, oh, okay.
Everybody ought to appreciate what Dwayne Breyers has done here. Again, here, the plump. They love to emphasize that this is a fat person, but she's not at all, not in the slightest. This is a beautiful woman, and this is what beautiful women look like. And I love seeing women like this in this state of elation. It makes me giddy. It makes me feel happy with the world, like everything's right in life, and it makes me sad to know there's women out there that have this body.
Yeah, it is interesting that he seems to believe that he's like, she's not fat, she's beautiful. In his head, he has this, like, diametric idea that fat and beautiful, which is the cultural perception, I would say, in our culture, at least historically. It's better nowadays, but still, you know, you can't be fat and beautiful. So he's saying, I find her beautiful, therefore she can't be fat. Even though, yeah, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna put a label on this fictional character, but let's call her thick, right?
the world tells them that they're fat, and it's just, nope, those are men, and just call them out for what they are. That's not just XY, that's a Y. I'm an XX, that's an XY. And people need to be aware of this. I have my second child is coming any day now. My partner is getting big. She's got a big old tummy now.
Again, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm glad he's finding joy and that he loves his partner and that he loves his partner's body. But does he know how much he's admitting here? Like, does he know how open he's being about this in a way that is, like, not typical? Like, he's talking about basically his fetishes? We're bordering on fetish with the tummy thing. We're bordering. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just find it fascinating that he doesn't seem to understand what he's saying and how normally people wouldn't be cool admitting this on the internet because it's quite personal. Toriador says it's simple, Hannah. He likes big butts and he cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. You want to pull out the tongue because you notice that butt was stuffed. Even the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh, baby, I want to get with ya and take your picture. My homeboys tried to warn me, but that butt you got makes me so horny. Ooh. Okay, we're done. We're good. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. Just a Peach with a $3 tip says, must have not looked at pinups ever, for Pissmas. Thanks.
And it could be any day. And I don't know if it's going to be a boy or not, but we have a lot of feeling that it might be a boy. And I'm going to show them Hilda. Not in a weird, pervy way, just like, this is what...
I'm sorry, did you say you're gonna show material to your children that you're titillated by? Please don't. Please don't. I'm begging you. I'm begging you not to show this to your children in a weird way. And there's basically no way to intentionally show this to your kid that isn't weird. Don't provide your kids...
should be more prevalent, but is nowhere and is super rare.
It's like he's specifically trying to give his kids the same fetish as he does, which is fine, but, like, it's fine if they have them, not fine to intentionally instill them. Like, what are you doing? Hybrid Era fan, thanks for following.
And this is a gem in an ocean of crap. Or I should say ocean, but ocean.
Where are you? Hi, I'm Hannah. This is Tinfoil Tuesday. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, to be clear. I'm anti-conspiracy theory. We have fun looking at conspiracy theorists and what they believe. And this gentleman believes that most women are most people, he believes, are secretly transgender. So he is talking about this picture and how he feels it depicts a, quote, real woman, end quote, and how he's going to show this to his children to tell them this is what a real woman looks like instead of a trans woman, and it's literally just him talking about his BBW fetish, which is fine. It's fine to have it. Odd to talk about it as if it's like a political message, which is the vigor with which he is delivering this Jeremiad about the lack of thick women. Thanks for following again, by the way. Please don't leave. Oh.
A giant pile of coal. This is a gem. Diamond in the rough is the thing, but diamond, whatever. That's their fucking phrasing. She is a gem. She's an utter gem. There's not enough people making artwork like this. And I think a lot of it has to do with this obvious Bapho society. They're insulated. They get the time
Bapho society, Baphomet.
Work on all these...
Satanism on the bingo card. I know Baphomet isn't Satanism, but he doesn't know that. He thinks it is. Green Guy says, Hannah, fetishes are strange. Pro P!
Crap.
That's another Another pro P. Not looking good for anyone who doesn't want Pissmas to happen. Because we're getting closer and closer to Pissmas.
I have a lot of time to work on stuff too, don't get me wrong, but the sort of monetary pressure, the sort of like waste of time
Satanism or satanic? Satanic, sorry.
I've had to do in life because I'm not some upper crust T that gets everything handed to them in connections and, oh, you look like everybody else, so you fit right in. No, you're left out if you're not one of these freaks.
Oh, Jesus. Nemesaur with $100 tip says, Hannah, I don't not support never letting the moratorium not lapse. That's a funny joke, but please actually tell me if you want this to be for or against Pissmas, because I genuinely don't have the brain power right now to figure out your riddle. I don't... Wait. Okay. Not lapse would be... Against? It's against Pissmas? Okay, that's easy. Easy enough, thank you. Boston, thanks for 44 months. Merry Pissmas. Wow. Nemesaur just wiped out all of the pro Pissmas tips, and then some. Take that, pro Pissmas people. Cloud Wizard says, did I miss something earlier? I can give you $1 to prevent us watching people drink Shibambu or whatever. I'll say it again, because it's been a while. If we get to the costume month goal before next Wednesday, Pissmas is canceled. Because for those that don't know, we put a moratorium on conspiracy videos for people who are into drinking pee, because people find it gross. Obviously, I find it gross, but I get more entertainment out of watching you all be grossed out than I am grossed out myself. So on balance, I'm pro Pissmas. But, as we all know, we live under capitalism. So capitalism will tell us if we do Pissmas or not, and do a whole video of people who are into pee medicinally. If you don't want Pissmas, get the costume month goal to 1,000. If you do want Pissmas, do a tip and tell me, and it'll take money off of the costume month goal closer to Pissmas. That's confusing. Boston with 500 bits says, I don't know why the bits didn't send with the sub-anniversary message, Merry Pissmas. Oh, well, thank you. You didn't need to do the bits, but I appreciate it. Yeah, you're in therapy stuff.
God knows what to their body. And this is a natural female, and this is just...
I'm pretty sure my butt's bigger than the cartoon character, and it's because of the estrogen that I take as a medication. Sophie Bliss with $5 Canadian says, pro P, there is a little bit of P on every US banknote. There's a little bit of cocaine, too. So you got a party.
This, and I'm thankful that someone like here, Amy Pence Brown, is reviving. This is another natural woman. Amy Pence Brown going, yeah, Hilda's awesome. Like I'm going to show off how amazing Hilda is.
It's great for her. I got nothing against her. Yeah, she's great. What does this have to do with anything? I want to go on the other end of this. This feels like he's really shitting on, like, thin women? I'm not going to do this thing where we're like, yeah, pro larger women, but then you do the opposite thing where you're like, but fuck skinny bitches. Like, I hate that shit. No. All women. You're excellent. We're all fucking great. We don't need to do this. We're not going to be sectarian about body types. It's not to say you need to be attracted to every body type. Just stop shaming people for their bodies. No matter what the reason. Stone Gorbell with 100 bits says, I'll never get over how much his tone and manner of speaking sounds like Hans. Are they related? Also Hype Train. I don't know. The ages don't match up. So either they have to be like twins or brothers. I don't know. He's so much like Hans, but he's not Hans. He even has the same delusions. Is this bad parenting? Yes, bad parenting on the bingo card. 75% to level 1 on the Hype Train. Woo!
Loving. Maybe she's a little bit, she's a little bit silly. Maybe she seems a little bit dim-witted on occasion, but
well, that's unfortunate.
You gotta love her for her willingness to get out there and explore and be part of nature. And you can just see it. Like, this little doggy's often in most of the pictures.
Icky Neko, thanks for gifting a sub and getting us over level 1 of the Hype Train.
She has this glistening to her. She has this this wonder that is etched into her that I don't see with a lot of art.
The Hybrid Era fan says, this is the most bored I've ever heard someone sound about women of size. And he's like so horny for them. That's the weird thing. He's clearly horny about it, but he's like not even like, oh, here's my waifu list. I could almost respect that. I could almost respect if he's like, hey, YouTube, I'm going to tell you what I'm into. Like that person who did the top 10 hottest Sonic characters. That was hilarious because it was so earnest. This just feels weird.
Like, this is a beautiful piece of art. This is amazing. And I couldn't be more thankful that this exists, because it's more good quality, rare gem work that I actually find myself thinking that
This
I want
man
to make
literally
stuff
zooms in to the ass first in every picture. A man after my own heart.
like this. And I would encourage other.
Not a boob person. I like boobs, but no. See, now I'm doing the embarrassing thing. It's contagious.
People to do the same.
Shut
Because
up,
we need
Hannah.
more of it. We need
Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card. Stop it.
natural women to feel like they are beautiful and they are loved, and the world is a big bunch of nonsense, and all the tabloids, all these like things out there, not tabloids I should say, but all the like magazines and the models and that whole this Victoria's Secret, their whole thing is a big
Victoria's Secret was founded by a trans woman.
ugly
True story.
ugly devil circus. And this is a little glimpse into what the world really does look like a lot of the time, where you have natural women going about their day living carefree like this, doing what they will, especially out in the country. I mean, Hilda's out in the country. She's not living in the cities. She's
Country girls make do.
out in the country. And just look, this shot captures so much. One of my favorites. This might be my favorite Hilda right here.
11% to level 2 on the hype
She's
train.
painting this, she's painting this downspout.
Yes, that's such a good way to put it. He's oblivious to his fetish. He doesn't know that he's describing basically that he has a fetish. But instead of recognizing like, oh, I have a preference, this is a preference bordering on fetish. Right? I think that's an accurate descriptor. But he doesn't know that's what he's describing. He thinks he's describing, this is, quote, real woman, and everyone who isn't my specific preference / fetish isn't a real woman. They're secretly trans.
And she just realizes, oh no, there's a little family of birds here. What do I do? And she just finds herself stuck.
Yes, Amber. It actually was, yes.
And she's got to listen to them and wait. And it captures this eternal.
Unfortunately, I believe she got bought out of the company before it went really big. But yes, it was originally founded by a trans woman.
It's eternal essence of life, where you're always considerate of who's around, and you don't know what you're going to get yourself into, who you're going to wander past. For me, I'm living in a new location, and for me, it's this little armadillo
I can be
guy.
two
He's got
things,
holes
Isaac
all
and
over
Animate.
the yard, and
On some days, I can be 3.
I'm mindful of him, and I want him to feel like he's taken care of, and we're not going to harm him, and he can have whatever.
Half a minute on the hype train.
He's already. I don't know if it's a he or not. I'm not good at telling armadillo.
Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, my butt is bigger than any cartoon butt because my butt is real and cartoons are not. True.
Gender.
Your butt has a whole extra dimension.
But our armadillo friend, he's already like knocked over our little bucket we leave out for compost, and then I think I told you he licked my sandal. Just goofy stuff. But I think if you're open to nature and you realize that you're not better than any animal, and they're more brilliant. I think they're way smarter than we are. I think they're fucking stupid. Like we're not stupid, but we're like into like voyeurism and just
Thanks for the hype train, everyone.
Nonsensical stuff.
Where did I get the trans woman thing? It can't just be from the conspiracy theory. Where did I get that? Let me look it up and see if I can find where I got misinformed.
Feeling the breeze and watching the sun do its thing, watching the moon do its thing. not caring about like the screens and just the inner workings of someone else's life when you can be focused on your own. Like Hilda always is. She's always present, right? She gives you that feeling. She's present. She's not distracted. She's like, oh, what am I going to do here? Oh, man.
I don't know
can't
where I
continue
got that
paying
piece
this.
of
This is their
information.
home.
I apologize. I hate when I accidentally pick up some piece of misinformation and then spread it. I apologize.
What am I going to do? Am I going to move them somewhere else? Or
Thank you for correcting me.
man, I might have to wait till Mama comes home, and I'll just have to work on this later. I don't know what you can even feel. Look at the feet. Look at the feet. That's just how you can feel so much of the concern.
Stop! 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 He doesn't know! He doesn't know! How does he not know? Alton Undying says, I really like the fact that you're not cool with judging bodies fat or thin. I was once told by a doctor I was healthy because I was thin. I had a stomach parasite. People are trash about weight and using it for proof of health. People are. People are trash.
Look at the feet. That's just how you can feel so much of the concern there, and just the like. She's thinking about what to do, and I thank you, Dwayne. I mean, if I'm gonna, I don't want to have to do this, but if I'm gonna T-vestigate, I gotta say it looks like a free Martin to me. But who cares? At the end of the day, this is somebody.
Wait, so he thinks that the artist of the illustrations is trans? Of course he does. He thinks almost everyone is trans.
Doesn't like the plastic fake Hollywood shit, and probably didn't choose what they were and realized the natural woman's beauty and spent their lifetime making it, and did so without being disrespectful to women at all, like by cherishing women and holding them up. And I can't praise this enough. This is, I wish I had this. I wish is nothing, but I'm thankful I know about it, and I'm gonna spread this to my child, my boy.
Stop it! Stop saying you're gonna share pin-up photos with your children and describing your sexual fetishes? Are you gonna tell your children, look at the feet? Look at the feet!
My child, and my girl child too. You know, my daughter, I want to show her Hilda too, and just show her how beautiful women are when she gets, at some point, inevitably freaked out by a swire or a strat or one of these people that's in the club and does all this weird stuff and has all the makeup and is stick skinny and says that's the ideal, and calls someone like Hilda fat when she's gorgeous. She's curvaceous, she's voluptuous, she's perfect female form right there. And we need way more of this art out there. This is, I think, a genuine good movement. It doesn't have any of the negative, oh, we're just pointing fingers at the Satanist type stuff movement. Because I've done that. I mean, obviously, I've made the painting about the all the club and fake gorillas, fake Tyrannosaurus Rex.
When he says swires, strat, or free Martin, you can replace it in your head with trans. He and Hans Wormhat, who shares these same delusions, both put trans people and intersex people in the same category. That's not accurate, but we're not talking about a real worldview. We're talking about a conspiratorial worldview. So when he says any of those things he is saying, he means trans or intersex, but he thinks they're the same thing. John Corbell says his praising of this guy's art has this energy.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, bro. Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea how much I. Sorry, okay, I'm normal now. Anyways, reblog. Awesome art. Fave. I'm crazy! 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 You have no idea! You have no idea! Okay, I'm normal again. Cool art.
All orange, 33, and globe.
Orange 33, Freemasons 33 is Freemasons on the bingo card.
I'm just tired of it. That's
We
their
already have spurious symbology. Also, we'll be looking at the bingo card after this video.
world. I don't fuck them. Like, oh man. You know, I've said before, pray for them. Man, fuck them. I fuck them. They're evil.
They took away
They've
my
messed with us
waifu.
our whole lives. Fuck them.
Where's my red-headed... Where's my red-headed waifu with mommy milkers? Look what they've taken from you.
You know, there's this person, I've talked about her before, let's see, like 911 conspiracy. She's on my, I'll reference her, but she's the one that's like always talking about how you need to stop eating animals. She just doesn't let up on that. She doesn't let up on it. She doesn't let up on it. And she said this is like they've mistranslated the Bible. The Bible's just full of crap, and I'm with her on that. The Bible's full of crap. It's got some great truths in it.
Did he say 9/11? I missed 9/11. Multiple people said it, so yes. Sorry, I missed when he said it.
Kernels, but it's full of crap. And one of these pieces of crap is praying for these Satan children, where it's just like, dude, what are you doing? It is their family and our family. It just is. They might confuse people. They might be good at confusing people and making them think that we're all, but once you know.
He said 911. Oh, like the number? Because that, like, did he mean it as the phone number, or did he mean it as 9/11?
Over. Like, I can't go back to my satanic.
This has like one more minute and a half left.
Fake friends of youth ever. Or even the ones I see, I don't see them nowadays. I live in the country. I don't see many people. I see my neighbors, say hi, talk to them. They seem decent. But
he said 911 conspiracies. Okay, he did mean... Oh, he was talking about the name of a channel. No, that doesn't count then, because he was just saying the proper name of a channel. The channel is called 911 Conspiracies, which, in fairness, probably is supposed to be 9/11 Conspiracies, but he's just saying the name of a channel. He's not actually talking about 9/11, so no.
I can't... Fuck them for not making this everywhere. Hilda should be...
Fuck them for not all being my favorite waifu is the greatest conspiracy. The conspiracy to stop every depiction of a woman from being my favorite waifu.
Everywhere. Hilda is too beautiful. It is one of the most amazing pieces of artwork. Sorry, a little. It's late at night. I don't have my best in me right now, but I'm ever thankful for this. The fact that this exists. Venus of Willendorf. We have these clear, wonderful representations of women, and we need to continue it. We need to keep going with it. We need to make more and more and more and more and more. Make them of your wife. Make them of the girl that she's a good friend, and you know how beautiful she is, and she's looking at these stupid magazines thinking she looks like shit, and she needs.
Please don't draw erotic photos of your platonic friend.
To lose weight.
Not a great move.
Get liposuction just because she's a natural, beautiful woman. Look at Hilda. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for what you did. Please, please, please make more Hilda-inspired, real woman-inspired artwork. We need more of it. All right. God bless you. Have a good night.
God bless. That man is a professional gooner, and he doesn't even know it. All right, let's take a look at the bingo card real quick, or at least the bingo master sheet. Oh, is it going to freeze? Of course it is. Try this again. There we go. All right, we have flat earth. We have Oh boy, spurious symbology as evidence. We have doesn't understand how cameras work. Conspiracy theorist shows up in chat. Vibes-based conspiracy. Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism. Psyop. Satanic. That's not how women work for his whole thing on his waifu. Did he say the Matrix? I feel like he did, but I don't remember for sure. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal. Hannah regrets what she just said. Yeah, Sky is fake for Chris's stuff. Which number was that? Sky is fake. Go. That dude's definitely a Squirrel Girl main. Squirrel Girl is based. Did you see the Squirrel Girl model from the new fucking game? Holy shit. That's the best Squirrel Girl design I've seen in a long time. Genuinely good. Oh yeah, there was the all watching a movie guy. Yep, we're all watching a movie. All right. Did the laughing get to Hannah might die levels? Not even close. That was quite amusing, but it didn't crack me up that much. Maybe I've just gotten better at keeping my composure with age. That's disappointing. I was hoping as I'd get older I'd have less self-control, not more. All right. Squirrel Girl is in Marvel Rivals. Her model definitely is. The models from the game got, like, pulled out of the game by someone for a specific online community that I won't get into. We don't have the time to explain that. You know what? Yes, we do. Porn. The models got ripped from the game by a community who takes models from video games and uses them to create pornography. There you go. All right, let's see what's next. Here's another Eric Dubé video. He's been obsessed with this idea of the soul trap recently. So here's his video on how to transcend the soul trap, part 1.
If the core messages of Gnosticism and Catharism are true, and the Egyptian and Tibetan books of the dead are correct,
those are pretty big asks, aren't they? Also, maybe mutually exclusive?
then we are all living within a reincarnation soul trap matrix from which very few escape.
Matrix on the bingo card?
If the reports from many near-death experiencers can be trusted, then we are being expertly coerced, manipulated, and sometimes forced against our will to come back here after death. And if Robert Monroe was right, then Earth is a giant loosh farm, with human suffering and other negative emotions being the main crop harvested.
This is another one where people crave to understand things through the lens of intentionality, because that's how we understand the world, is through our own first-person perspectives of our desires and feelings, our intentions. So we expect that externally. Now, when you're interacting in a social space with other people, that can be a helpful tool. When we're talking about the natural world or things outside of the social, outside of humans, that doesn't really work, because the world, physics, just like matter and energy, don't have intentions. They have laws as to how they function, but it doesn't have a teleological explanation the way that they're expecting. So they look around them and they see evil. This is basically their explanation for the problem of evil is, oh, it must be someone or something that needs human suffering That's their explanation for the problem of evil, instead of understanding our perceptions of what is evil are generally things that are detrimental to our survival individually or as a species or our community groups. But these things aren't intentional, right? They're just bad things that happen that we don't like, and we call these things evil, right? But that doesn't mean there is an intentioned being causing them to their own benefit. They do things, and people in general do things for their benefit. So when other things happen that are to your detriment, you start to look around and go, well, who benefited from this? Because your actions are based on what benefits you, the people you love, generally people. You get the idea. It's a projection of how we think into the external world.
This bleak outlook, painted by these various sources, is also echoed in many world religions. For example, the iconic image of the Bhava Chakra, or Wheel of Life, in Buddhism, depicts all of human life happening within the jowls and grips of Yama, the Lord of Death. 4 concentric circles.
That sounds interesting, Moss Sloth. Thank you.
Show how we are trapped within a reincarnation cycle. The pig, rooster, and snake in the inner circle represent the 3 poisons: ignorance, attachment, and aversion. These 3 poisons give rise to positive and negative actions, which result in the light and dark karmic manifestations shown in the 2nd circle. Karma then gives rise to the 6 realms of suffering depicted in the 3rd circle. And finally, the 4th circle symbolizes the 12 links of dependent origination, showing how the poisons, karma, and suffering all cause inevitable reincarnation. Importantly, also shown in the picture is the moon.
Yeah, poor understanding of Eastern philosophy or religion on the bingo card.
Represents liberation from the reincarnation cycle, and Buddha pointing to the moon, which indicates that our liberation is possible. The Hindu religion also maintains that we are trapped within a reincarnation cycle created by the god Brahma. The Vedas describe this world, our bodies, and all of physical creation.
This is so interesting. He's pointing to religions that have reincarnation while avoiding the ones that don't? This is normally the opposite of what happens for conspiracy theorists, because a lot of them are, in my experience, at least the ones we talk about, are Christian. Eric Dubé is not. He's an atheist, I believe. So I do find it interesting that this is a case where he's using syncretism between Eastern faiths as opposed to the typical conspiratorial go-to, which is to pull from the Abrahamic religions. Kind of interesting. This image AI? Ooh, let me look at the hands. Ooh, that's tough. This one's tough for me. What does everyone else think? I genuinely don't know. Oh yeah, this lady has an extra arm. You're right, you caught it. AI, uses AI on the bingo card.
As Maya, meaning a trick or an illusion
Yeah, and this hand has a weird number of fingers too. The hand over here looks weird. Yeah, I can see it for sure.
By Brahma. Within each of us exists an Atman, or soul essence, which discards and acquires new bodies the same way we throw away old and buy new clothes. In this view, the physical world perceived by the senses is actually the greatest obstacle separating us from true reality.
That's a ribbon? No, the ribbon was on it, but there was also an arm. They kind of like flowed into each other.
And the goal of human life is to achieve moksha, or kavalya, meaning emancipation or liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
Was it a depiction of Vishnu? Because it was the one on the side that had it. My understanding is Vishnu is the one typically shown as having multiple arms. I'm not very, read in Eastern religions at all, so I apologize for stuff I get wrong.
Yeah. Even the 3 Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are sending a similar, albeit more cryptic version of this message.
It's not cryptic, it's just an entirely different message. No, Christianity, no, Judaism do not espouse a belief in reincarnation, nor does Islam. That's absolutely ridiculous that he would even deign claim that.
They don't feature reincarnation or claim physical reality to be illusory, but do view Earth as a fallen realm, and not the kind of paradise one would truly wish to inhabit. Humans are viewed as inherently sinful beings and Earth serves as a kind of mediocre purgatory for our souls, not nearly as good as heaven, and not nearly as bad as hell. Depending on our beliefs and or works during this life, we are judged, and if positively...
That's not reincarnation, Jay's a proxy. That's resurrection. There's a difference.
So, our
You came back in the same body.
souls ascend
That's
to
resurrection.
a heavenly afterlife, never to return here again. One commonality found in all of these religions is the notion that we are imperfect souls trapped in an imperfect realm, but with the ability to escape and transcend to something somewhere better. Earth is never presented as our true home or the best place to be, but rather as a temporary prison or school where we must first purge our sins or karma. Arthur Schopenhauer stated in On the Suffering of the World, "If you want a safe compass to guide you through life,
Some
and to
Christians believe you're given a new perfect body in heaven, yes, but the identity isn't different, is my understanding. You still retain the same identity, whereas with reincarnation, you sort of embody a new identity within that lifetime, even if the core of who you are is the same, you're still sort of a different persona, whereas under Christianity, it's the same persona even after death. Even if you get a new body, it's not a new persona, it's still you.
to banish
Why have I devoted so much of my life to talking about shit that just isn't even true? It really just feels like I know a lot of lore, you know? Some of it's Star Trek, some of it's Star Wars, some of it's Christianity, you know?
all doubt as to the right way of looking at it, you cannot do better than accustom yourself to regard this world as a penitentiary, a sort of penal colony. I refer not to my own philosophy alone, but to the wisdom of all ages, as expressed in Brahmanism and Buddhism, and in
This isn't my claim. This is the claim of the wisdom of the ages, is quite an attempt to obfuscate your actual positive position you're making. I'm not making a claim. This is the claim of the wisdom of the ages.
the sayings of Greek philosophers like Empedocles and Pythagoras, as also by Cicero in his remark that the wise men of old used to teach that we came into this world to pay the penalty of crime committed in another state of existence, a doctrine which formed part of the initiation into the mysteries. And Vanini, whom his contemporaries burned, finding that an easier task than to confute him, puts the same thing in a very forcible way. Man, he says, is so full of every kind of misery that, were it not repugnant to the Christian religion, I should venture to affirm that if evil spirits exist at all, they have posed in human form and are now atoning for their crimes. And true Christianity, using the word in its right sense, also regards our existence as the consequence of sin and error. So if this world truly is a penitentiary, a sort of penal colony, then how do we break out of this prison? If there is a better place to be, or a better state of existence to experience, how do we achieve it? If we wish to be free from suffering, free from all falsehoods and illusions, free from sin, karma, and repeated reincarnations, how can we truly be liberated? The majority of modern Christians would be satisfied to say it is as simple as believing wholeheartedly in the divinity of Jesus Christ. But as previously established, beliefs may be used as a weapon of manipulation against us in the afterlife realm. And this gamble, known as Pascal's wager, has potential downsides unforeseen by Pascal or most Christians.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Pascal didn't recognize, like, oh, there are also other religions. Like, I know it was more isolated because, like, you were just further away from other cultures and different people at the time. But, like, that is wild to me that for all the thought he put into this, at no point was he like, oh shit, what if other religions are true? Not so good, Mr. Spiritual Punnett Square.
Likewise, most modern Buddhists and Hindus would answer that we should conduct our lives in a way that creates no new negative karma. But as previously established...
Whenever Pascal's wager comes up, I just think of the Simpsons episode where Homer goes, but what if we're going to the wrong church and every time we go we're just making God madder and madder?
This is deemed nearly impossible, and even the most diligent disciples are doomed to suffer thousands of deaths and reincarnations.
Pascal was probably a good Christian who didn't think other religions were valid. Not a very well thought out wager.
Interestingly, if instead we look to the words of the Buddha himself in the Buddha Vachana, he states, "You may declare for yourself that I am done with hell, with the animal realm, and with the sphere of afflicted spirits, finished with the plane of misery, the bad destination, the lower world."
Can one believe in something just because it seems like a safe bet? Yeah, I never understood that. Pascal's wager to me completely ignores that you can't control what you believe. Like, I could claim that I believed something, but it wouldn't actually be my belief. You know what I mean? You either believe something or you don't. Altered Undying says, I think of this. Then it's the mummy when Benny is pulling out the different religious symbols. Yeah. It's a good scene. There it is.
I am a stream enterer, no longer subject to rebirth in the lower world, fixed in destiny, heading for enlightenment. In other words, he is saying what is really necessary for us to transcend this soul trap is true intention and conviction. It would seem the most important aspect of avoiding reincarnation is having the clear intention and solid conviction against it. It makes sense that karma, material desires, and attachments would play a part in luring us back into body. But if our intention never to return is strong enough, it should outweigh any material desires or attachments trying to bring us back. In addition to this, something else that would seem incredibly important is having full faith and complete confidence in our own innate authority. Almost every near-death experience involves some kind of angel, demon, god, alien, spirit guide, deceased relative, or other light being appearing and introducing itself as an afterlife authority figure. Why should we believe or trust in the imposed authority taken and information given by these beings?
I like that the implication is that you're gonna sovereign citizen an angel of death.
If and when I find myself in a
Like, literally, the Grim Reaper's gonna show up, like, in the 7th Seal and want to play chess, and you're just gonna be like, I do not accept your authority, I do not stand under.
mysterious new afterlife realm, I would much rather travel to and fro, learning things on my own, than be led around and lectured by an appointed tour guide. I would rather trust my own instincts and intuition, remaining skeptical and suspicious of new people and places. Blindly believing strangers isn't advised in this life, and isn't something that sounds advantageous in the afterlife. Many near-death experiences also feature a life review and judgment scene presided over by these beings, as explained in the Egyptian and Tibetan books of the dead. Most people report just passively watching the entire life review and accepting whatever judgments were made about them. But why should we accept the judgments of anyone outside ourselves?
How is Dubé not a sobsit on top of everything else? He's very busy plagiarizing Zetetic astronomy every day. He doesn't have time to learn new things.
Why should...
Sorry, I'm still upset about this. At least other conspiracy theorists I watch sometimes have original ideas. Eric Dubé has stolen 99% of his talking points from a book that's like 100 years old. And it's annoying.
we even agree to watch
At least this is kind of new. But I think in this I've seen other people talk about, and he's just stealing stuff from them, probably.
A life review with these judgmental beings? Why not instead opt for polite non-compliance?
You know what Eric looks like. He's done videos where he's on camera.
If a being wants to be your afterlife tour guide, just respectfully decline the offer. If the being starts giving you unsolicited information about the afterlife realm, just nod, smile, and remain skeptical. If they want to watch your life review with you, again, politely decline and see what happens. If these beings are as benevolent as they attempt to appear, your respectful refusal of their requests shouldn't be a problem. The whole trick seems predicated on the fact that these entities need our consent to send us back into body. They can shapeshift and appear as our most influential authority figures, lie about anything they need to persuade and manipulate us, watch playbacks of our entire lives, choosing key moments to guilt and shame us for, then encourage us to reincarnate to right the wrongs we supposedly committed in this life. But if they could simply force us to reincarnate,
What's my favorite version of the afterlife? Thanks for no one asking that. I want to answer it, though. Has anyone seen Defending Your Life? Defending Your Life, the movie, is incredible. It's an Albert Brooks film. It's in the Criterion Collection. Please watch Defending Your Life. It makes me cry. It's a wonderful movie. Baha says, whoa, the horns. Indeed. Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card.
why would they bother with all the pretense? It seems the ultimate choice is ours alone.
It is a good movie, Hybrid Era fan. Since I mentioned Blu-rays, I will say, you're new Hybrid Era fan. If you don't know, I'm a big movie collector. What you might call a cinephile, derogatory. Here are some of my movies. This is my sci-fi collection. I have my sci-fi TV shows over here off camera. Look at much of my horror collection. There's all my Doctor Who. Here's my tokusatsu and also Hong Kong kung fu cinema. My other stuff's downstairs.
They can attempt to
That's actually why I have this channel, is so new people can come in and I can show them my Blu-rays. Everything else is a ruse.
guilt trip or shame us into coming back. They can
Your favorite afterlife is the ultimate solution in The Good Place. That's also a good one. That is very nice. The show The Good Place is excellent, by the way. Everyone should watch The Good Place. Don't Google it. Don't look anything up. You're gonna get spoiled. Just watch the show at least till the last episode of the first season. Please.
try to entice or bribe us with better
You're watching GameStop-related VODs? Fair.
incarnations. But if our intention
Earnings for GameStop are coming up, so we might be covering GameStop again soon.
is set and our conviction strong enough, what are they going to do about it? Decide that you are never reincarnating regardless of what anyone says. Make the decision that no outside entity has the right to judge you. Reject their offers of life review. Refuse their demands and directives. Remain skeptical of their claims. Maintain your sovereignty and deny their imposed
He
authority.
said it! He said the thing!
Set your intent
I'm a sovereign spirit, okay? I don't respect your authority. I do not stand under.
on ultimate truth.
I'm
and let
traveling through the
everything false
afterlife.
fall away. Howdy Mikowski wrote, one of the things many NDEs present is that the beings we encounter claim to have some sort of an authority over us, and that one should be in both fear and awe of them. This is likely the main reason one is programmed since birth to respect authority and to never question it. You don't discuss or deal with these entities. You must be rooted in your divine spark. You go past them by dissolving them, and as such, seeing that everything they are and present are manipulated lies, that they have no authority over anything that comes from outside the matrix. Those who allow such judgment to take place are abdicating their own authority. We have to drop the idea that anyone or anything is above us or has the authority to judge us. Only the divine spark within can do that.
Okay, but like, what about large groups of other people in society, like courts?
The divine spark never judges. And Isabella Green wrote, know that you
Well, that covers AI generated.
have a different choice. Decide on your choice while still alive. Make a strong agreement with yourself. Stand your ground. No one yields any power over your decisions for yourself. No matter how mighty that authority might seem to you, you do not need any authority to give you permission. This is very important for you to know. Own your power to decide and execute your choices for yourself in all areas of your experience, and you will be sovereign and free.
That's Eric Dubé. I'll be back in just a sec. I have to use the bathroom, but I'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, Chair will tell you about, Shaw Brothers Classics Volume 2? I think I've shown Volume 3. But this is Volume 2. Now that's gonna fall over. Chair will tell you about this ominous blank tape labeled Taekwondo Class in Frankenmuth and Lakin's Black Belt Test Part 1. Someone apparently gave their kids videotape of getting their black belt to a fucking thrift store. Good for Lakin. Lakin got that fucking black belt. Or maybe Lakin didn't get that black belt. Maybe that's why they sent the tape to the thrift store. Get fucked, Lakin. Loser. I'm still not used to these new horns, and I keep walking too close to walls and bumping into them. Like, I keep... How do Rams do this? Alright, let's see what Roger of Mud Fossil University is up to, shall we?
My friends, I am going to leave it at this. Okay, my friends, I am going to leave it at this. As far as I'm concerned, there is nothing that exists that is not biology, 100%. And
if everything was biology, nothing would be. If everything was biology, what would we have as a frame of reference to say what biology even was? It would just be everything. It would just be reality. We wouldn't have a word for it. Ugh. I don't think people think about how we categorize things.
If you look up any culture that existed in the world, they say the same thing. The earth is made of creatures.
Ancient wisdom on the bingo card. Also, well, there are mythologies and beliefs around the world that have mytho-historical origins of the earth and other natural phenomena coming in the form of, like, giant beings. That's not universal. That's not universal, even close to universal.
And so are the planets, everything there is. And I have found a comet, asteroid Bennu, that they took a sample and brought it back to Earth, has the muscle sarcomeres in it, and it has the phosphate layers, which are the...
He has a thing where he has pareidolia, and he'll bring it up even in this video, that people tell him he has pareidolia, and it makes him mad. He sees patterns, or he sees superficial features in something like a rock in geological features and goes, I think that looks like something that exists in the world of biology, therefore it is that same thing. So he'll look at rocks and be like, oh look, it looks like muscle tissue, so it must be petrified muscle tissue. Or this looks like connective tissue, so it must have been connective tissue. Like, it's the most straightforward case of, like, pareidolia gone wild that I've ever seen, but he just refuses to accept that that's what's going on, because he wants to believe that he's secretly, like, the best at physics, he's the best at biology, he's the best at geology, because to him, all of these things are the same thing with different names.
The phospholipid bilayers, and it shows the sarcomeres. There's no question it's muscle from a heart, and it looks exactly like a heart. It is a heart, There's no question about it. It has
Isn't pareidolia just a result of having our dumb monkey brains look for patterns? Yeah, pattern seeking is like one of the reasons we've survived so well. It's not something any one person has. We all experience pareidolia. Unfortunately, it seems like there are some people who experience it more strongly, or at least more strongly put credence in the feelings that pareidolia causes over the reality of recognizing, oh, it's just looks similar and my brain is picking up on that.
tubes coming out of it, not craters, as tubes. It's
All holes are tubes. Change my mind.
crazy. They don't understand what they're looking at. And we're spending over 1.18 billion is the last time I saw to get this sample, and they're just going to play around with it for years just because, as far as I'm concerned, it's all about funding now. I really can't see any reason for this kind of missing everything there is, and nobody can be this incompetent. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. So either they are not allowed to speak, or they're not speaking because they realize that they might put themselves in jeopardy for whatever reason. All right, so that's all I can say. All I want is honesty and truth, and be able to discuss these things and not say, "Oh, that's pareidolia. Don't talk to that guy," and which is what happened to me. And
Pareidolia. Apparently, he doesn't even accurately know how to pronounce the word. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna hope he just said that accidentally and doesn't actually think that's what the word is.
now I'm outside the realm of reality. Nobody wants to even be around me because everybody has put me in that box. Stay away from this guy. He's crazy. Well,
Roger regularly writes to different universities, to specific professors at universities, to try and push his hypotheses on these people. Of course, they send him messages. If they do, a lot of them just get ignored, obviously, because he is just sort of a kooky internet guy who thinks he's on to something that he isn't. But when they do respond, yeah, they tend to tell him, no, that's just pareidolia. You have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't seen these letters. I imagine sometimes it's kinder, maybe sometimes it's not. But either way, he doesn't take those letters very well. He feels that he has been locked out of the scientific community, even though he's never been a part of the scientific community. To my knowledge, he doesn't have any degrees. He's not had experience in academia. He just thinks he should be able to make observations, send in letters to universities, and be taken seriously. Doesn't understand the scientific method on the bingo card.
we'll find out who's crazy in the end. I'm going to turn this off, and don't forget, these are the balls. And I showed you in my belt, those are the same balls, my friend. Those are the same little tiny balls. And on the other side...
Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, you're talking about pareidolia, and I was thinking back to the guy who must see thick women and everything and think it's normal and must share with kids. There's another $3 for P month.
Side are all those little fibers which I showed you. So it's time to step back into reality as far as I'm concerned. We're just walking around in circles. And these guys are going out and turning up this stuff all over the world, Now, they got me blocked too, most of them, because they don't like me commenting, saying, look, that's biology. You know, can't you see that? No, I try not to be combative to these guys. They're out there actually just doing some very good research. I don't want to be combative to them. I want to be combative to the geologists that just arrogantly say, oh, no, that's just all layering. No, it's not. And they realize that that's...
No, it's not. Good response.
It's just not true anymore. I know they realize that. And even Yale changed...
He's assuming malice on their part. That's interesting.
The name of geology is no more. It's planetary sciences. And they show the basement layer of skin when they showed the name change for Yale.
The basement layer of skin.
You see this here? Yale University said February 10th, its Department of Geology will change its name to Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences to better reflect reality. Oh, wait a minute. Better reflect the breadth of faculty research.
Yeah, some of it's probably not just in geology. Some of it might be climate-based research. Some of it might be generally environmental-based research. They're not saying it's biology, sir. They're expanding it beyond geology, which is specifically like rocks and stuff.
Well, what is this? This is mud fossils. They're showing exactly my stuff. And I reported all this stuff
Did you know that every single picture of rocks is his stuff?
to Yale years before this. And this is 2020. They decided, well, we better change the name to protect the innocent. Well, they're not innocent
He
by
doesn't even understand why they changed the name.
any means. And I hope President Trump...
Yale to rename Geology and Geophysics Department. Let me see if I can find that article, because it might even say the reason. Let's see. Yale to rename Geology and Geophysics. Yale to rename Geology and Geoscience. Yale to rename Geology and Geophysics Department. Yale University said February 10th that its department of Geology and Geophysics will change its name to the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences to better reflect the breadth of faculty research and teaching and Yale's deep engagement to the most important questions about planet Earth today. Tamar Gendler, Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, announced the news in an email to the FAS faculty and said the new name will take effect July 1st. In a separate but related announcement, Yale said it will rename its School of Forestry and Environmental Studies to the Yale School of the Environment, also effective July 1st. As the study of Earth evolved, Yale's role in exploring the dynamics and processes of ever-changing planet expanded. The name change, Department Chair David Buracoli said, recognizes how the field of Earth sciences has evolved beyond classical geology and geophysics. The field now encompasses the study of the processes of and solutions to climate change, he said. We investigate oceans, atmospheres, and ice sheets, past, present, and future, the coevolution of life on Earth, and the deep, inaccessible interior of our planet, and how all of these phenomena play out on other planets in our solar system and beyond. The article continues, but that's the relevant part for us. So the article he's citing, literally in the article, explains why they changed the name, and yet he's acting as though it's because of him. Did he even read the article, or did he just read the title and look at the picture and assume? Wasn't the presenter reading this on screen? He read a little bit, he didn't read to the part that actually explained it.
Will take the opportunity to do exactly what he said he would, and to extract some resources from these places that have
Oh good,
denied
he actually
reality.
might, though.
And
See
put
what
it
he has to
into
say
a
about
place
it.
like Mud Fossil University that accepts reality and opens it to everybody. I show both sides. I don't just show my side of it and say this is all there is. No, tell me how this formed.
Both
well,
sides.
that formed 1 million years here, and 2 million years here, and 3 million years here. No,
Hey, one
that
who
guy
reads.
fell over dead. That's the key. They're going to have to start to accept this. And Yale has taken on my stuff. This is about mud fossils. This is about mud fossils. And they're soft-bodied.
Okay, so no, he starts reading a different article. So no, he doesn't even read the part that explains the actual name change.
Or even before there was
Yeah, Roger's a Trump supporter, apparently.
bones or anything, my
Is
stuff.
that shocking? I don't think that's shocking.
No, my stuff is long after.
I'm gonna break your hearts, everyone. Gina is also a Trump supporter. Sorry to break that to y'all. Hey, you all. Gina's a Trump supporter.
There was bones and everything. There was geese here and all that stuff. And they say this was lived in a warm, slimy petri dish. Yet
Gina is the conspiracy theorist that has been so lovingly placed on our bingo call sheet. If you've noticed the lady dancing on the bingo call sheet, that's Gina. We used to cover her more often, but not so much these days.
wouldn't even know about it unless for the chemistry of the ancient oceans, which is the silicates. And this is a Yale-led research team. No, I led the research team, and I gave Derek Briggs my research about this.
I'm sorry, did you just say you headed this research team? Again, he has no credentials.
Of the ancient oceans, which is the silicates. And this is a Yale-led research team. No, I led the research team, and I gave Derek Briggs my research about this, including
Delusions of grandeur on the bingo card? Not a space, but it will be next time.
DNA tests, CAT scans, specimens, everything. He wouldn't accept them to take a look at them, but I presented it to them in emails and everything, and over and over and over. I have a whole list of emails, well, not hundreds, but dozens, and they just refused to do
Yes,
their
my research said by a not researcher on the bingo card.
job, and then they took credit for it. And they're saying that this is all fossil deposits in Australia. I'm 15 miles from Yale. You could walk over here almost. And they're talking about they were all soft body, entirely soft body. No. No, 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 no. I have bones, I have all kinds of things. And they say it was buried in the sand. No, it was buried in the mud. Worldwide. Underwater storm events worldwide. No. It was a giant flood of hot water because it's Venus.
No, his point isn't that it's nefarious. He's saying they changed it because secretly behind the scenes they believe all the nonsense he believes, and they're changing it in preparation for revealing to everyone that Roger was actually right.
Almost hit Earth, and it boiled the oceans. MIT agrees that the oceans did boil. Now, this was the guy right here, Derek Briggs. I presented my work.
I'm actually not sure, Jay's a proxy.
Derek
Probably, if I had to guess, but I'm not sure.
Briggs, Yale's professor of geology and geophysics.
He's at least a creationist. I don't know if he's a young Earth creationist, because I don't think he's a young Earth creationist. He is a creationist, I think, but I don't think he's a young Earth creationist.
Curator of invertebrate pathology. He told me he didn't know anything about this stuff. He said, well, I don't know anything about that stuff. You should talk to a geologist. I said, what? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, because he knew I was on top of it. First words out of his mouth was, what are you, a creationist? I said, what's that got to do with it? I said, I'm showing you...
What's that got to do with it? Trying to understand why you believe such a thing probably would be a part of it.
And this and that. And after that, it was all downhill. They're the most arrogant people I've ever seen. And then the whole crew of them there, I sent emails to everybody, all the way up to the president. I sent it to their legal department and everything. I said, you guys are way out of track here. You're supposed to be fiduciaries to your students. You're not doing your job.
Fiduciaries to your students?
I'm nobody. So they just... Well, now we got somebody that might stand up for truth. I hope Trump will do that. That's what he said he wants to do. We'll find out. So far, I haven't had any words from him. I've been trying to get through, and I know my friends and my subscribers. I have 211,000 now, and
he thinks he's gonna get in touch with Donald Trump. Honestly, at this rate, you know what? Maybe he'll become in the cabinet. Whatever cabinet, member would most closely have anything to do with geology. Roger has a shot, unironically.
I'm not getting any word from anybody. Let me just put it that way. So I'm just hoping for the best. But Yale is certainly not going to get any reality here as far as I can determine. This is the worst experience I've had since I started. I should have never went to Yale whatsoever. Because as soon as they rejected me, everybody else said, you're right, 15 minutes from Yale, go to Yale. I said, they won't look at it. Well, they said, you're an idiot, have a nice day, click me. And then I was blackballed from everywhere because I would not back down. And I actually had police and lawyers call me.
Huh, interesting, Chase Proxy.
So this is what you're up against if you want to fight.
Stop harassing them then, Roger.
But now we may have a champion in our corner. That's all I can hope for. Now, I don't like any politicians, so don't get me wrong here. I'm not for or against anybody. I am for truth. Whoever can present that. After we get the truth, then we can deal with it. But right now, nobody even knows what the truth is. They have no idea where we live. This is living in a fantasy world. You might as well live in a comic book somewhere. The comic books are more real than the textbooks. Much more real. And the PhDs are perfectly happy deluded. PhD. And they suffer from PhDolia. The inability to see the obvious.
PhDolia.
All right.
Got him. They said I have pareidolia, you have PhDolia, you stupid science bitch. That's hilarious. Poor Roger. He's so confident. He's so confident and so wrong. Huh. Oh, Level Earth Observer is super upset that a chat program called him a flat earther. So let's check it out, even though he is a flat earther. So let's watch.
just want to show you how silly this is getting. I'm over at Chatbot AI. Now, people have been bigging this AI up for quite a while now, particularly this chatbot version.
Believes evidence is self-evident on the bingo card? Yes.
I thought, okay, fair enough. We'll try it out. I'll pose a couple of questions to Chatbot AI and see what it comes up with. The first question was, who is Level Earth Observer? And artificial intelligence comes back. Level Earth Observer is a YouTuber known for promoting flat Earth theories. So straight off the bat, artificial intelligence is lying about my claims. Nothing I've ever stated regarding the Earth is theoretical whatsoever. And I'm not...
Okay, so if you don't know that much about Level Earth Observer, he gets very mad when people call him a flat earther for being a flat earther. He does this really annoying rhetorical trick where he thinks if he says a bunch of flat earth claims, but then says, oh, but I'm not a flat earther, I'm a demonstrable realist, he thinks that that shifts the burden of proof from him to someone else. It does not. All he's doing is changing a label and not directly calling himself a flat earther, even though he is a flat earther and is making positive claims about the Earth. So that's why he's mad, is no one takes that seriously, and everyone, including the word calculator, you know, doesn't understand, it's a chatbot, but parses this series of words that indicates he is a flat earther, because he is. It's just a rhetorical point that he tries not to be called it. Mayo Emery's of Caldera says, Roger isn't a billionaire, so he probably wouldn't have a space in Trump's cabinet. To interest Trump, you have to be incompetent and rich. Fair.
I'm not a flat earther. I'm a demonstrable realist.
He's a demonstrable realist.
Which essentially means I stand by physical demonstrations that can be tested and verified by all.
Which you believe show ... that the Earth is flat. Your channel name, as pointed out by Rob P in YouTube chat, is Level Earth Observer. God, he's insufferable.
The results of which prove the globe Earth theory is physically impossible. So straight off
which would make you a...
bat, Chatbot AI is lying and misrepresenting me.
It's not, and I hate AI, but no, this is not inaccurate.
Fool. Alright, back to it. Level Earth Observer is a YouTuber known for promoting flat Earth theories and skepticism of mainstream science, particularly related to space exploration and geology. The channel often features videos criticizing NASA and other scientific institutions. Well, the end bit was correct anyway. But I didn't like the lies and misrepresentations at the start there, Chatbot AI.
Not a lie.
Bear with me.
Does he understand that it literally only, like, again, this isn't the correct word, but I'm going to use it for simplicity's sake. It only knows this because it's picking up on, like, everyone else's things that have ever been said about him on the internet. Like, this is sort of the net, like, average of what the internet has to say about you. The chatbot does not have opinions. It is literally regurgitating to you the net average of what everyone has basically said about you here. VoidTuber, can I see your bingo card? Copy the URL at the top of the page and paste it into chat so I can check it.
Okay, so it was time to hit Chatbot AI with the second question. And that question was, what physical demonstration?
He's just like the sovereign citizens that don't want to be called that? Yeah. People think they can eschew a label while still being everything underneath the label. Not how it works. Oh, you were just trying to get the bingo card. Sorry.
Proves a globe Earth. And Chatbot AI came straight back with the goods. Several physical demonstrations and experiments provide evidence for a globe Earth. Oh, wonderful. But then we scroll down. The first so-called physical demonstration we get is a claim of photographs from space. Images taken by astronauts and satellites clearly show the Earth to be a sphere. That's not a physical demonstration, is it?
I mean, It is, in the sense that people physically went into space and used a camera that uses physics, light goes into it and creates an image. So it is. Depends on how broadly you're describing a physical demonstration, I guess. All of that is done physically, but whatever. Green Guy with another $3 tip says, Hannah, we found a kitten in our backyard and raised it. Now she hunts marshmallows in our cupboards, so we have to put them in tins. I guess marshmallows being soft and squishy are bad for soft and squishy kitties. You can have too much soft and squishy. I don't know about that. Soft and squishy forever. Also, there's another $3 towards Christmas. Thank you.
That's a claim. A claim that goes against every physicality on this earth.
Except it doesn't, so.
So citing photographs and images as proof of a physical demonstration isn't that savvy, is it, AI? Dear oh dear.
I like when they get mad at the calculator.
And then he cites, AI cites circumnavigation. Again, that isn't a physical demonstration of anything.
Is it not? Like, that's literally physically traveling around the globe. Like, what do you consider a physical demonstration if not physically doing a thing in reality? Like, what are you talking about?
That can be done on a level plane.
No, it can't. You're gonna come around the other side like Pac-Man? No.
And then number 3, we get the horizon. Another observation that has no physicality as AI.
Did you know boats and the ocean aren't physical?
I thinks ships disappearing supposedly from bottom up is physical proof of a globe Earth theory. Problem is, AI hasn't taken into account any of the optical variables. And
oh, sorry about that, Moss Sloth. Apparently Baja accidentally pocket timed you out.
of course, can't
You're good now. Sorry, not your fault. You're good.
cite any physical demonstration of the substance at hand, water, to behave in the manner in which the globe Earth theory suggests. Large standing bodies of water just do not have the ability to display convexity upon its surface.
Again, he uses more complicated words than he needs to because he thinks it makes him sound smart. All he's saying is the ocean doesn't curve. It does. We know it does because we've seen it from very far away, and it does. At the local level, when you are at like sea level, it doesn't appear that way because you're very tiny compared to the actual like size of the Earth. Simple to understand, but he thinks using like polysyllabic words makes his bullshit seem more palatable.
Fact. So when you ask for physical demonstrations from artificial intelligence,
if you want different ones, you could probably type that you can do at home, and it would give you different ones.
it says it's got them, and then when you entertain it, it's just got observations that have no practicality. This is getting ridiculous.
You didn't ask for ones that are practical to do at home.
More? Hang on. Time zones. Oh dear. So number 4, time zones. Again, that's not a physical demonstration, is it? 5 lunar eclipses. During a lunar eclipse, the Earth cast a round shadow on the Moon, indicating Earth is spherical in shape. Who proved that what happens during a lunar eclipse is down to a spherical Earth's shadow being cast upon the Moon?
Because that's what we see. What do you mean?
Who's actually...
We can literally predict it. We know when they're gonna happen down to like the second because of these models. Does he understand that something being like a scientific theory should have predictive power? That's the whole point, is being able to predict things?
physically prove that? No one. No one on this earth. Again, it's just an empty claim. One that has no physicality. Variation in star constellations. Again, another observation in the sky looking the opposite direction of the Earth. And finally, gravity. Gravity. Whatever is at play there, right? I don't deny the way reality presents itself to us and what is termed gravity. I don't deny that. I deny the daft stories attached to the way reality presents itself to us. But gravity only makes it worse.
You disagree with our mathematical expressions of gravity that can literally be proven? Like, what are you talking about?
Because gravity can be overcome by a gentle breeze. Therefore,
it's not, I mean, yes, multiple forces can be at play. A helicopter isn't, like, negating gravity. It just has a vector of force, the thrust from the blades, that exceeds the force pulling it towards the Earth. Again, these people don't understand systems with more than one vector. It's wild.
Or isn't man enough to make the globe Earth theory a reality. Because something that can be overcome by a gentle breeze isn't going to be able to hold a tower crane upside down on the other side of
not upside down
a ball. Well,
right side up. Everything is right side up for its perspective.
It's spinning and wobbling and oscillating.
What's your vector, Victor?
Entertaining 4 different speed vectors at the same time, like the globe Earth theory suggests. Gravity, if it can be overcome by a gentle breeze, isn't going to make that a reality, is it?
It does, so...
Tower cranes upside down on a spinning wobbling...
And it's not upside down.
Ball.
What do you think upside down means?
On the other side of the Earth in relation to me. Excuse me.
Like, you just used the word relation, so you should get it.
I'm sorry, gravity can't make that a reality. The reality is, whatever is at play with regards to gravity proves, the effects of gravity prove, it's not man enough to make the globe Earth theory a reality.
Is he calling gravity a beta male? Because I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting. Gravity is such a beta male.
Fact. So even when we ask artificial intelligence questions, it cites observations and claims it's physical demonstrations, and then when you ask it a question about a demonstrable realist, me, it lies and misrepresents me.
Flat earther.
How anyone in this day and age still believes the globe Earth theory, when every single person on this earth can physically test and verify for themselves that that's impossible. Even artificial intelligence is showing you.
Gravity's such a pussy, it's weaker than the weak atomic force.
It's impossible. It
a physics joke for you.
Claims it has physical demonstrations, but when you entertain it, it's just observations that have no physicality. Crazy times, I tell ya. Have a good one, everyone.
This is the type of person that doesn't understand that the Earth doesn't really have a top or bottom. No, relativity is a big problem for them. Relativity poses some sort of issue where they don't seem to be able to quite grasp it, and I don't know why. Oh, this one annoyed me. Check this out. Let's see how long it takes you to realize what this whole stupid video is about, and you're gonna roll your eyes. There's a lot of footage of different towers and stuff either being struck by lightning or having blimps attached to them.
Have repeat researchers such as John Levi, Martin Leitke and others have repeatedly pointed out that almost all of the photographs from the 1800s seem to have the sky purposely doctored to blur it out.
Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card.
Notice how you can never see any clouds, distant hills, or land on the horizon.
These were old cameras that could not resolve details in the sky like that while also photographing buildings and things in the foreground. That's not how old cameras worked.
The sun even. And on some of them, you can even see the sloppy, pixelated cuts around the buildings.
Does he think that that building that has like a ridge thing on its roof is a cutout and not just the design of the roof? Because that's hilarious. Like, that roof clearly is built like that with the jagged roof. I don't know the purpose for it. Like, it might just be an aesthetic choice. But that's clearly part of the building. But he is viewing it as a sloppy Photoshop job? Doesn't really make sense. Ash the Poetic Fox, thanks for 45 months, says, "It is time, bestow upon me a child. This sub-baby's name is going to be, Criminy Buckmaster Geraldson." I already forgot the name as it came out of my mouth. I hope someone caught that. Penikagami says, they don't understand perception and perspective, which is ironic because if you ask the religious among them why God allows evil and why he doesn't plan a solution to hunger, their answer would be something humans don't understand God's perspective. Never mind explaining vector or forces to these people, they can't understand different people's view the world differently.
Are they
Criminy Buckmaster Geraldson? Sure. I was thinking with a G for the Geraldson, but that's fine.
hiding something? And if so, what? And why?
They're not hiding something.
We have also noticed that churches and older structures around Scandinavia, and the rest of the world for that matter, all have large open belfries, but with no bells in them.
In many cases, the bells have been removed because their purpose no longer was a thing. I don't know if you know this, but in a time before the modern time, people did not have watches. So historically, at certain times of day, the local area, usually either a church or cathedral or something, on the hour would ring their bells, so everyone would know the time. I believe it was every hour. It would do chimes at every half hour, I believe. So, not only that, but also church bells for, like, when it's Sunday and it's time to get the fuck up for church. A variety of social purposes, basically. But as time went on and those purposes were no longer needed, the bells, stopped working, cracked, broke, rusted, whatever. They removed them because they don't need them.
They also seem to have human-sized arches and platforms, much like old skyscrapers and towers such as the Empire State Building and the Eiffel Tower. They have them very near the top.
Sorry about that. Just a Peach with a $2 super chat says they melted them for World War II medals. Oh, that would make sense. Them actually being turned into scrap for any purposes during the World Wars. To build weapons, to make medals. Yeah, I could certainly see that.
Is it possible both questions have the...
And also, yes, to the second question, yeah, people would have to go up to repair the bells or clean them or to be up there for a variety of reasons. Yes, people could be up there in the belfry.
Same simple answer? As always, the topics we touch...
You don't ring church bells in the US. There are places where they are ringed every 15 minutes to this day. It depends on the area if they have a church that has them. Like, I have an area semi-near me that does it. It just depends. There are actually a couple churches around me that do that. There just aren't as many old-style churches in the US as there are in Europe. They exist, certainly, but they just aren't as common. Also, the United States, you gotta understand, is much more spread out. Population density in many areas is just, like, ridiculously low. So those areas don't have anything like that because they didn't have a historical need for it because everyone was so far apart, a bell wouldn't even, no one would hear it. So they're not as common, but they certainly exist.
Touch on in our videos are our own musings and should be taken as such. Do your own research and come to your own
Do your own research on the bingo card.
Conclusions. There was obviously something in the skies that they didn't want us to see.
No,
were there commonplace...
It's just bad camera.
Atmospheric...
It's just a bad camera.
Anomalies that would seem strange to us today? Were there literally no clouds or sun? Were there flying rainbow unicorns? Probably
that one.
Not. But what if the skies were full of airships? This might sound absurd at first, but consider this. All of the old world maps made by the early to late 1500 cartographers are in perfect proportions with modern maps that are allegedly done by aerial photography and satellite imagery.
They're certainly not identical, and surveying was a thing. Like, even today, a lot of stuff is done via surveying. What are you talking about?
They even have major and minor rivers mapped out in dense, impenetrable jungle and forest
Not that impenetrable if people went and surveyed it, huh?
regions. They even have coastlines
Oh, I see where he's going with this. He thinks they went up in balloons. Okay.
and areas mapped
Or dirigibles.
out in places we had allegedly never even discovered or explored at that time.
Wait, that was Antarctica, not Australia. It even said on it Antarctica.
The only way this could be done is from
Oh my god, does he think the Nazca lines were done via fucking plane or a dirigible?
the air. You would need a craft that can go slow enough to map out the terrain, fly high enough for area perspective, and low enough to see details. You would also need a whole fleet of these to map out the whole world.
There are a decent number of history conspiracies that hinge on people not knowing how common surveying was in the past. Like, genuinely. It's kind of interesting. Flat Earthers ignore surveyors, too.
But where would you keep or moor them in the 1500s? One possible answer lies in the larger antique buildings and churches here in Copenhagen, and actually in other cities on every continent around the world. If you're new to Tatarian mudflood research, there is mounting evidence that most of these old buildings are much, much older than the
Mounting evidence. No, there's mounting claims. I wouldn't call them evidence. Rayline with a link.
And how the Nazca people were able to create them without any guidance from above.
Just still don't know how Chris from down the street was able to draw this without any guidance from above. Nazca line theories just crack me up. We got people telling you that the most likely explanation for how these were made was air travel or aliens. If you do believe that, join me in putting on your critical thinking caps for a second, because I got a question. Have you ever done, like, a scale drawing? You know, like 1 inch equals 1 foot, that kind of thing? Because the only lost technology that you need to turn this from a sketch in the sand to the size that it is now is unit conversion. Or were the ancient people just too stupid to figure that one out? They didn't know how to do unit conversion, but they knew how to make airplanes. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I love that guy, by the way. He does really good in-depth explanations of conspiratorial beliefs in anthropology. He's really great.
the late 17 or 1800s, as is claimed by lamestream history. Possibly,
I'm sorry, did he say lamestream history?
hundreds, as is claimed by lamestream history.
He did. He called it lamestream history. Holy shit.
Possibly hundreds of years
Got
later.
him! Fucking lamestream. Got him, historians. Go fuck yourself. Go read an old book, you bitch. Here's a primary source for you.
As you can see from these images, all of these older buildings and churches have basically the same mechanical structures on their roofs, albeit in many differing designs. The aerial, the ball, the 360-degree openings, or sometimes
oh my god, it's for bells! It's a fucking bell tower, you loon!
off landing platforms. We call these towers belfries, yet strangely, most of them have no bells, or even the mechanical framework to hang them on.
They were removed!
Why would this design of towers be universal across the country?
Is it universal? Like, the only thing that's universal is the fact that it is open, which acoustically would be necessary. If you were using a bell for the purpose they were using it for, you would want it to ring and want it to acoustically be able to spread out in a sphere, as sounds are one to do like this. So you would have openings all around it so it wouldn't be impeded, so people on one side would get the noise but other people wouldn't. Ugh.
And as you will see later on,
Like, why are these all the same? Because they were serving the same function. They have quite different aesthetic considerations, but the practical considerations are the same because they have to be for it to function as a bell tower.
also across the world. Did these people have bats in their belfries? Or did they have blimps on their belfries?
God damn it.
The largest and most important buildings in
To be clear, there were actual historical structures that had blimp things, but it was much later than he's saying. So, like, for instance, which building was it in New York? Was it the Chrysler Building? No, it was the other one. It was the Empire State Building, had anchor points for dirigibles. I think the Eiffel Tower had them at one point.
these cities seem to have the
But of course, that's much later than he's talking about.
most mooring points on them for various size airships and would be obvious recognizable landmarks for inbound pilots. We can imagine several different scenarios. Larger airships with many passengers and large cargo would unload on the ground, and then pilots and crew would moor the ship on the tower and disembark via a gang.
What does he think is the goal of hiding this information? People like him, who are into Tartarian conspiracy theories, which is the name of this conspiracy theory, because they believe that there was an ancient empire called Tartaria that secretly ruled the whole world, and it was a golden age, but once that ended and there was a, quote, great reset, or New World Order, everyone was forced to forget about it so they can all labor and be used as wage slaves. Basically, it's another explanation for why does my life suck, but I don't want to think that it's maybe just our economic and social systems. It must be a conspiracy of a hidden, super amazing past.
Plank into the human-size openings in these
It's not uncommon in conspiracy ideology for there to be some sort of hypothetical, idealized past that was ruined by them, by someone, by a group in power. You know, there was like a Garden of Eden that was taken from us by them, whoever them might be.
towers. Another scenario would be the bus stop analogy, where certain passengers would disembark down a gangplank through the tower and the airship could move on quickly to the next destination. If we look at these towers, there is always a large antenna with a ball, perfect for mooring.
That's a lightning rod. That's a lightning rod.
And keep
The video literally opened with you showing these things
pointed
getting
out.
struck by
Purple
lightning.
magpie.
Hold on, go back. The video showed stuff getting struck by lightning. Because it's physics.
As no one can predict the direction of the wind, it would make sense to have multiple openings 360 degrees around the tower,
Nope, that's acoustic.
as they all
And aesthetic, but practically it's acoustic.
do. Most of these towers have a smaller top belfry with windows too small to walk through, but perfect for a landing technician for
Is it? Or did they have tinier bells? Did they have tinier bells up there, maybe?
sighting and mooring. If this theory is correct, then we can also see that it wasn't just the largest and most important.
Honestly, thinking about it, that might even have an acoustic purpose for the normal bells, that some of it might go upward and then concentrate out of the smaller portholes on the top part and help it travel further. I don't know. I don't know acoustic shit. Don't listen to me.
Buildings
I'm not a fucking acoustic technician.
that had this technology, but private residences
Could also just be straight up aesthetics.
also had mooring points for smaller airships on their roofs. There is a theory that these buildings doubled as atmospheric energy harvesters.
They didn't. That's not a thing. Benigami says it's why conspiracy is so key to fascism. Well, one reason. A lot of conspiracies are, Palingenesis. Palingenesis. That's not a word I recognize. That's rare for me. Now I gotta look that up. Palingenesis. Means rebirth or recreation. Multiple meanings across various fields. Palingenesis. Concept of rebirth or recreation. In philosophy, theology, politics, and biology. Okay.
And for all we know,
Palingenesis.
they were also recharging these airships while moored. And that this free energy technology may be part of
Not free energy.
the reason they could be hiding the existence of these once commonplace airships.
Maybe they keep the building from getting struck by lightning in a way that's dangerous for people. He says he can't tell which way the wind is going to come from and then showed a wind vane. I actually didn't see that. That's funny.
Which brings us to structures such as the Eiffel Tower, the Blackpool Tower, and the thousands of other towers around the world. Also with platforms, mooring architecture, and possible atmospheric harvesting technology. Could this be what they were really built for?
Oh. Alright. I'm done with this, because this goes on for another 30 minutes. And I can't imagine he goes into more specifics.
These days could take a beating.
Alright, let's see. I think we're done. We've been going about 3 hours. I don't think anyone won the gift sub, unfortunately. Shame. I'll do a random gift sub then. Let's see who's gonna win the random gift sub since no one won bingo today. Sad face. Round and round and round it goes. Where it stops, no one knows. Who will win the gift sub? Grocklesphere. Grocklesphere wins the random gift sub. So that's cool. Nice, Grocklesphere. Enjoy that gift sub and the lack of ads. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. I appreciate you. It's always fun hanging out and looking at conspiracies with y'all. I will be back tomorrow. Not sure exactly what we're going to be doing, but it'll be fun, whatever it is. If you haven't already, make sure you either subscribe on YouTube or follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. I stream almost every day, and we always have a lot of fun. That's it. Who are we going to raid? VC Archives?
Of extinction and...
Hell yeah. VC Archives is doing... Trek. Always enjoy rating that. Oh, Fedekagami says, fascism is, in its most simple definition, paleogenic ultranationalism, an obsession with a previous golden before time that must be recreated. This is achieved through a hyperfixation on blood and soil. It's a pretty good succinct definition. Raid. Alright. Love you, Mr. Blast. I'll see the rest of you soon. And yeah, just have a great night. Bye-bye.